G'day, citizens. Welcome to Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined this week by NonStopBops. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, guys? How's everyone doing out there today?
Sorry, a little late. Bops had computer issues. Well, that's what he told me anyway. I've only got his word to go on, but that's a good word enough for me. I started work.
It's a good word too, that one.
Sorry, if you can hear the cat, she's meowing her ass off.
Hey, how you doing, guys? How's everyone doing out there
I can
today?
hear you. Sorry, a little late. Bops had. That was myself. Hang on. I hate hearing myself. Right. There we go. Right.
If you had any doubts that it was a live production,
yeah. I had it in the background because I was talking to Chad. Going, oh yeah, waiting for Bob. So yeah, that's okay, guys. Stop complaining. But yeah, it's been a week, man. So we had 4.5 go live. Man, it's so smooth. Like I'm getting like 30 server FPS. I'm getting like 60 plus like hard locked. If you had what do you call it? That thing you turn on, VSync. If you have VSync turn on, it's just locked to its frame rate, doesn't move. But if you turn it off, like it goes like over 100 frames per second. It's just insane. It's the best patch I've ever seen, performance wise.
Yeah, there's a few like old sticks in the mud that we bump into. Like if you jump in around, say, I don't know, Ruin Station or Checkmate Station, you still get the frame rate drops, and that's just optimization stuff. They shouldn't really be focusing on that right now anyway. We're in an alpha, but really it's been pretty smooth. I'm keen to see how it plays out in the long run over the next like month or so, simply because yesterday and the day before were day one patches, so we got day one problems, like inventory issues and those sort of things, so just load times. But overall, it's been really good, and the implementation, I'm sure we'll get into implementation of engineering, is nothing more than perfect. It is exactly like I'm looking forward to see it develop and change, but it has turned Star Citizen into the video game Star Citizen. Feels like we've a great leap forward, so to speak. It's very cool.
Okay, I've got to send an angry message to Pickles. Neither bot is working. I am live. Wait, live? Please send help. All right, yeah, cool. All right, now hopefully he gets that message. So other than that, we're gonna have to do the questions the old-fashioned way. We'll do it in the Q&A on YouTube. I'll get that set up now just in case things hit the fan. Ask us some questions. Right, so we got to back up. Right, thank you, Bodyboarder22 for the subscription with Prime. Appreciate it. You'll have to monitor YouTube chat because for some reason it is not working for me today. I'll try and
I'm heading over there now.
I'll try and do it again. Bear with me. YouTube. Okay. Channel. Us working. Don't hear myself. Shut up. You sound like a chat. Heard it right. Actually, no, it's exactly the same link. Why is it not working? It's got to be something to do with the updated version, because I just updated OBS yesterday, so I guarantee it's got something.
Probably some version issue.
It happens a lot. You'd be surprised. Customize docs. Delete that doc. Create a new one called That's put a new link in. Is it as simple as the fact that it just doesn't have HTTP in front of it? Is that's what's causing all the issues? Boy. Yeah, that's what it was. You freaking serious?
Beautiful.
you stupid donkey. I hate YouTube sometimes. Like no, they keep they deliberately keep changing things, and it's just so annoying for no reason. Anyway, right, list.
No, yeah, YouTube can be fun. I, as you know, hit partner and started trying to stream on YouTube, and you know how I just sing like an idiot constantly as I stream. Yeah, YouTube kept turning my stream off because my singing was copyrighted. They were.
Yeah. Well, maybe that'll open that episode we recorded this week when I was doing the changes. No, Argrid is not retired. Argrid went on a cruise for 4 weeks, and he's doing some, in his own words, Entertaining. I'll leave it at that. 4 weeks of entertaining. Yeah. I wonder what he's doing for 4 weeks. Yeah, very sore boy for 4 weeks of that. Oh, anyway. Good on him. Good on him. And he just goes red as hell when I talk about it, so it's so good. But yeah, the P Diddy cruise. Yeah, that's it. The P Diddy cruise. Please go to Indonesia. No,
Algorithm promoted to corporate.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. I don't know what to do about the bot. Someone's messaging me. Is messaging me. Yes,
I'll let you wrap that up.
I've seen that. All right, no, I've already got. I'm way ahead of the person that's messaged me. They're thinking I'm slow. That's fine.
Go.
Right, so let's cut it over this. So this is what I want to talk about first because I am going to get messages about this. Need to turn that one off. All right, cool. So this is the sneak peek email that we got just a couple of hours ago. Nothing fantastical in it that you wouldn't expect on Christmas, but down the bottom here you get this. Now.
That's the rack for the Apollo, isn't it? The rack in the cargo bay of the Apollo.
Yes. Someone was on a lot of copium. I was telling him Bops just before stream. They messaged me, go, "Oh, it could be the Galaxy." I'm like, it just said it's production, and you think it looks like this? Like, it's like, what the fuck? No, it's clearly the Apollo. That is clearly signaling the data running that me and Argood have kind of been talking about. I highly think that this is the Hermes. I think that means that it's possibly not coming this month though, which means they're going to finally break their streak. You would have expected it dropped the other day with 4.5, yeah?
Yeah. And we were talking about that on my stream as well. Is that they've had that consistent patch release. I think they might be done or almost done with it. And I think there's a few things they might be just about finished with. But I think engineering is such a behemoth that they wanted to make sure that they were focusing their efforts on getting that sorted. Because I don't think they thought that engineering was going to have as smooth a release as it has. So
yeah. Well, it's flattened in some areas too, the engineering, but had this weird thing, right? I was and this is my hopium, right? Like massive copium. I was like, if you were going to sell something around Christmas Day, would you sell it at Christmas Day or would you wait until Boxing Day? That's my last hopium, is they released the Hermes at Boxing Day because everyone's like up till now, everyone's been burned out by AIE with nobody's got any fucking money, right? And then because they've spent on Christmas gifts and all that, but the day after, everyone's been given cash and shit for gifts and presents. Prime time to fucking sell a ship. And I'm going to be honest, the marketing person has been really on point this year. So I'm wondering if they've had that discussion, gone, nah, let's just delay it till Boxing Day. I don't know. Just thought.
I'd love to get something else to keep us busy over the Christmas period. And if data running is that busyness, then I'd be super excited. There's been heaps of information about data running on all of the splash screens from last patch and this patch. And we've seen the updates. We've been through this last time, I think it was on the updates to the Herald and a few other, the Mercury Star Runner. So we're close. We're real close to data running. It's just, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think it's less than 3 months away, hopefully. So even closer.
So there it is on the screen, basically, the FTL comms breakthrough. That's what you were talking about, yeah?
Correct, yeah. And I think they mentioned something about it in the last one as well. But this is massive. Having the full splash being FTL comms. To me, this means one of two things. Let me see what you think. It's either we're getting data running, which is probably what it is, or full comm system is coming to Nix, because the previous splash was talking about the UEE going to Nix and setting up in Nix. And then now FTL comms going through to Nix. So I think we're going to get a full-blown comm system instead of the standard, or what we have at the moment anyway. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think it's definitely ties to data running. Data running's been in the background with bounty hunting and one other one that I can't remember off the top of my head, literally for like the last 3 years. And you can kind of see things in the game already, even if you kind of like just... You know, we talked about it, didn't we? We went through all the things what a light data running could be, and you could literally tier 0 it with using the refueling, where you just kind of land and it just copies up to your ship. You then land in another hangar and it downloads like that. You can fake it, so it's literally just going from 2 locations, and as long as you're within radar range, it just copies over. So you could literally kind of cheat and make it a tier 0.
I have a question for you, just on the because I listened to someone's video this morning in the shower, as I always do, and they were mentioning the economy changes and the stuff chatted about in relation to the economy on Spectrum. Is data going to have its own like fluctuating economy? Do you think, or do you think it's just going to be mission sets, the mission to take this to here, mission to take this to there, or do you think you're going to be able to purchase data and move data?
I think you can be able to purchase it and move it. But I think it's also, I think there's going to be a few types of it, right? So like I have a certain piece of data, right? You're an org leader, for example, say Bops, and I have a piece of data about your rival. Now to someone else, that's worthless. To you, how valuable is it? See what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's a really, it's almost like an NFT or crypto. Right? To certain people, it's fucking worthless. To other people, it's worth a shit ton. Right? It's that same type of analogy. It's the right data to the right person. So I might have a piece of data, right? And I think it was it could be Space Tomato that wanted to do this, but he doesn't want to do data running, but he wants to be a broker. So he's just somebody that knows everyone and knows all these things, and someone brings him this information about he brings him the Epstein files. No, but you hear what I mean? He brings a piece of information, and basically, like, he knows who that's valuable to.
That jerk Wicklow is on that list for sure. 100% Wicklow.
The Wicklow files. I've got the biggest PDF you've ever seen. But you get my point, right? Like, it's So I think I actually think there is going to be some because that's being a broker is emergent gameplay that you don't have to do anything. That's just all a byproduct. And if they do that, then again, that's amazing.
I play with someone, and I won't say who it is, just because I don't know if everyone knows that they do this. But I play with, as you know, I operate in the PvP community, and with that, I often get caught up with orgs. I'm not an org myself, but I play as a merc for quite a lot of orgs. And I know one of them who spends quite a lot of time. He's an excellent pilot in a 1v1. When he's not dueling, he spends quite a lot of time getting around in a Razor that he has tuned to not pick up lock until 800 meters, probably lower now with this patch. But he will go to the hot locations across multiple servers in Europe and America and Australia and Asia, looking for conflicts and looking for orgs that are bumping into each other, and he provides that information to build the conflict into something larger. So he's already doing his own form of data running or information gathering for the PvP community, and he does it for all sorts of different orgs as well. So we've caught him sussing us out a couple of times and had to try and run down his little Razor. So that information is useful. It does bring gameplay even in the PvP community. I can imagine if where the economy kicks into gear in the way it's supposed to, having information on where to buy, where to sell, these sort of things as it fluctuates and evolves could be really good information as well. So that's the emergent side. But it's interesting that you think there might be the non-emergent side, just the buying data and selling data side of it as well.
All right, so the next thing I want to talk about a little bit is this. So we have the patch bundle that's come out, which might be for a certain taste of people. I don't know who they are. Obviously, there's some form of wildlife that struts around Africa. I don't know what to say. Like, such a weird skin to me, but
it's metallic space zebras.
Yeah, metallic zebras. But what there is, it also shows that there's only one of it. But in the leaks, right? If I open this in the leaks, there are two of them. So what I'm suspecting that is, if you notice how it's like a bit different, it's like a digital gold camo. I think that's January. I think that's next month's patch bundle. Unless you think different.
No, I mean, yeah, it's not come out this month, so it must be next month. And if it's these leaks are normally bang on. That Gladius camo, it's supposed to be the Dazzler camo or some kind of Dazzler camo in relation to the old.
I think it's meant to stun you, bedazzled how bad it is, and you just like go, "What the fuck is that?" and then you die.
Just in case anyone from CIG is watching, the erosion from the Dunlevy skin doesn't degrade that Dazzler skin. I bought it wanting to throw it onto my Dunlevy because the Dunlevy Gladius strips all the paint off and makes it look all broken and worn. but the Dunleavy doesn't do that. So, please fix. So,
yeah,
it's cool though. I think it's great. I think the armor's
different.
good. $23 is a lot though, X. $23 is a lot.
We'll put it this way, that's more expensive than the one with the cape. And the reason why the one with the cape sold so well was because it was cool. This is not cool. This is probably worth. I wouldn't give you $2 for. You can give this to me for free, and I probably still wouldn't wear it. Like it's just no. I wouldn't want to be seen dead in that zebra suit. They should have just given it a big zebra head, like the mascot, the bear costume head, and then some people would have brought it, right?
The suit looks quite good. I'll give it that. Like I like obviously subjectivity comes into play here. I like the Gladius skin, but I just wish it would be worn on my Dunleavy. The suit actually looks pretty good in person though. It looks great. So,
but it's also one of the guns that I know that's not very popular, which is that shotgun. The Volt shotgun. It's one of the least popular guns in the game. It's not bad, but shotguns are just not the best. And the electric one on top of that isn't that good either. So.
Well, I back when I was doing way more bounty hunting in Stanton when it was still working, I was running that shotgun as my main bounty hunting weapon. But you need a sidearm because obviously reaching out with a shotgun is very, very difficult. I am surprised that they've gone with the shotgun. Now that you've said it, I didn't realize that. Like I didn't click. Because if you're getting out of your Gladius, are you going immediately into close quarters?
It just shows you how bad these bundles are, though. Because if you liked one of those three, you're not going to buy it because you got to pay twice. You got to like all three for it to be worth it. And as soon as you don't have a Gladius, that's half of it gone. I don't like the gun. For sure. There's another part of it gone. And again, I don't particularly dislike the pattern on the armor, but the helmet is garbage. The helmet's very standardized, very boring. I'm done. It's literally, like 2.5 negatives out of 3 is how I'd kind of put it. And so again, for me, as soon as it's the shipper's like a skin that I don't want, I just don't get it. The only 2 I brought this year was the very first one, not knowing what they were, right? And I actually liked the skin, I liked the armor, and I liked the gun, right? So I liked all 3. And then I brought the one at the end, which was because I had an Intrepid, so I could use the skin, and it was the best skin for the Intrepid I'd seen. The gun I didn't particularly give a shit about, right? But the gun's the cheapest of them. But the suit, I loved it. Not the helmet so much, but the cape and all that I really liked, and the backpack. So
yeah, and I know that feeling as well. 3 hours
mounting on your ass off, or are you gonna go leave me alone? You can just go, all right, fine. Just keep me on, right?
I bought the puffer suit. And the Bumblebee shotgun that came with the puffer suit, and I didn't really necessarily want the puffer suit. I think it also came with a C1. I didn't even own a C1. Came with a C1 skin, so I know what it's like to see these things all bundled up. And very often they can be a nice little grouping. But like you said, if you're not a fighter pilot but you love that armor, and now you're just stuck with a Gladius skin for a ship that you don't know you're not going to use. So, but it's there for those who want it. So. No value proposition or not, it is there for those of us who want to spend more money. The whales. Yeah, right. Do you like the new AI filter on Algorand?
Well, if you don't get the Ned Kelly reference, I always call Bops Ned Kelly because he's got this huge ass ginger beard and the hair for it. All he needs is the bucket. Do you want to tell him what you did last night for KFC? Because I found that funny.
Yeah, I did. So. I was told, shown the thumbnail for this video, and so I went and tried to get a KFC bucket that I was going to cut and wear on my head. But KFC, I spent $70 and they didn't send me the bucket. I was going to wrap the bucket in alfoil and everything, but they didn't send it to me, the jerks. Unbelievable.
And I said to him on these DoorDash or whatever, he goes, complaint. Spent $70 to get a bucket. All I got was a freaking box. Like... You should have just put the box on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wrapped it in foil. They sent me a box, not a bucket. Oh, anyway, that would have been funny. Yeah. So yeah, it is the thing here in Australia. When they play cricket season, they take the KFCs and they put it on their head like a hat. So they call it bucket heads. It's a thing with KFC. So it's very Australian nuanced. If you're not Australian, you might not get any of those references, especially Ned Kelly. He was a big bush ranger, but he's the guy on the thumbnail. So I basically just did an AI. Give me Ned Kelly in his starfighter cockpit, blah blah blah, and that's what it gave me. Anyway.
And just as a historian, if you don't know who Ned Kelly is, look it up. Awesome story. It's one of the greatest Australian stories of all time.
In short, and I'm paraphrasing as hell here, he's like Robin Hood for Australia.
With revolvers, cowboy style,
with guns instead of bows and arrows. Yeah, a couple of hundred years later is how I put it. But yeah, that's the closest I could give you. He's pretty nice to the people he robbed and stuff like that. He wouldn't actually rob from normal people. He'd like rob from the bank and stuff like that. And a lot of the money would go back to poorer people and stuff like that. So yeah, than what they need to live on. Right. Let's have a look at what questions I've got here. Because again, the way the stream works, we got 2 questions. This is going to be a very quick stream.
Well, before you get into the questions, I wanted to ask you a question, sure. X. So I've been experimenting with engineering for a very, very long time, as it's been in the PTU. It's now out on live. You, I remember, showed some concerns, not about engineering, but about how people would handle engineering. Now that it's here in the state that it is, how does it land with you? Because I know you like a lot of the bigger ships, not bigger, but I see you all the time in like C2s and C1s and those sort of size ships. How are you feeling about engineering and its implementation?
It's been flattened a lot from what I saw in Eva Cardi. And I think, again, if I open this, hang on, this is how I'd kind of answer this, to be honest. If I go back to the RSO website and then we go down here, this kind of reinforces my point. That's why I'm doing this. Was it roadmap? I think it was roadmap. Is right here. Engineering, end of March 2026. So they've kind of nerfed it and flattened it, and it's not quite the same. I guess, and some ships do have the functionality they had in the PU, but it's not exactly what it was. And there's a lot more to come, a lot more nuance and stuff like that. But even just looking at those 3 by the end of March, that's nuts. That's some big stuff in 3 months.
Like the new inventory they've been working on for a while. We're all just waiting for that. End of January is very exciting for that. I didn't realize it was end of January. I read that as March. So that's sweet. Crafting
inventory in January, man. That's like next month.
I know. And crafting and engineering both in March. Let's see if they can hit it. I hope they can. I'm not somebody who's super excited about crafting because it doesn't really affect me directly. It'll affect the people around me, which might affect me. But if they can get that in by March, people will lose their minds.
I think you'll be surprised how much it affects you. I think you go you start to think about all the times where it's just cheaper to do something yourself, and you very quickly realize, like, look at it this way: like, if you made a fabricator and just left it in your hangar, would you rather go make that new component yourself, or would you rather pay someone else double what it would cost you to make it, to everything? You got to start to think like that. Right, so that's what's going to happen. Everyone's just going to start doing shit themselves because it's going to be cheaper, and so you'll get the and then when you go to the next level, and they put in skill match crafting. You know how you got to try and perfectly time it or whatever they're going to do to craft it. That's the difference, right?
Well, my job, the way I look at crafting, is my role will be to go out and take out whoever needs to be taken out to get the materials to give to people that I play with, like Maggie or so I don't think I'll be engaging with the crafting machine, but I will be by proxy engaging with the crafting machine.
So
you see what I mean?
I get that, but I think it goes further than that too. Like, a lot of the gameplays are not in yet, and the example I always give is that org leader I was talking to about 12 months ago, where he had his main combat guy, right? He was starting to when they had those tests with the Hercules in the in Arena Commander. That
the engine ones from way back in the day.
Yeah. And it was about 12 months ago. And he basically goes, I think I like engineering. And I'd love to go back now and see if that guy's like starting to fully port over. But he was really enjoying like fixing the ship more than he was flying it and shooting people. So what I'm saying, and I'm not going to use you specifically, but just say, well, okay, as an example, I'll use you. But like, say for example, some kind of gameplay came on that you just didn't know how it was going to play. You might be moved or at least swayed to maybe all of a sudden you become PvP and whatever that is. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So I think there's a bunch of gameplay that we don't all know. At this point, we've been running on what does it feel like to repair? What does it feel like to be a medical person? What does it feel like to be a scientist? We don't have the gameplay to associate to that, right? And it was the same thing for mining for a long time. Algrid thought he was going to be hardcore into mining. He'd seen mining in all these other games, like, you know, pick your sci-fi game,
Eve or whatever,
all that, World of Warcraft, all those sort of things. Mining, he thought mining was going to be his thing, and he doesn't like it. He finds it really tedious and annoying, but he loves salvage because it's just so carefree and relaxing, and he can just kind of take his time and not give a shit.
And you're right though. As you know, I love my PvP stuff. That's where I live and die. But I still engage with the other bits and pieces of the game. I've been playing a bit of engineering over these last couple of days, being the engineer, because when you're streaming, being a turret gunner is not good for stream. It just looks real hard. It's hard for people to engage with it. So I either have to fly or I have to engineer. So I've been doing a bit of engineering and letting the big ship flyers fly the big ship pilots. And yeah, engineering's a whole bunch of fun, way more fun than I thought it was going to be. I mean, directly engaging as the engineer, watching the systems, watching the screens, looking for fires, managing armor, which I thought I would want nothing to do with any of that. But now I'm there doing it and I'm having an absolute great time. So you're right. You're 100% right, X. It's really, really, really cool stuff.
Wait, I'm trying to get some of these questions out of Twitch because there was a bunch of questions people put in, but the bot is
not grabbing them,
missing them. So I'm just trying to manually copy paste them.
Where are you pasting them? Because I'll grab a couple on YouTube as well. Then
just into stream questions. Oh, the ones on YouTube. I've got a Q&A up on YouTube, but if you see any in the chat, yeah, feel free to grab them and pull them out.
Cool.
Yeah, the bot's not working today on either thing, guys. So we're going to just struggle through manually. But we do have a couple on the Q&A. So if you're on YouTube, click the Q&A and just ask your question in there for me. If you're on Twitch, just chuck them up and we'll do our best to grab them as we normally do. You're going to sit there for 3 hours, aren't you? God, you're annoying.
Hey, X, can you give me permission to post in stream questions? Just so I can...
I thought you did. Sorry, man.
No, all good. Just so I can help you out.
I don't know what I've got to give you. Oh, look, I'll just do...
Don't worry about it. I'll just make a list of questions. I'll just send them direct to you, and you can grab them later.
If I just do that for today, does that work for you?
Let me check. Yes, it does.
Yeah, you just administrated today. I'll remove it later. You should be able to post in there. Right. Okay. I got it. Oh, Lemming's got it. Lemming's on it. Lemming turned up. Cool. So Lemming's on the questions.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Appreciate it, buddy. Lemming, let me share your thoughts with me too, man, on that sneak peek. I'm pretty sure it's the Hermes. I did message you, but you were away. So yeah.
Can you go back to that sneak peek for 1 second? There was something on there I just wanted to take a quick look at. Someone in chat says something that
sure
made me want to just
that's one. There you go.
So to me, I saw that rack and immediately thought, okay, we're in one of the little side halls of the Apollo, right? But that looks like a door at the end of the corridor.
So that particular section has two.
Are these the modules? Or the sections?
No. They have two caps. So think about the old cargo bay. Where I believe we are is we're on the right-hand side of the Apollo. So if you're at the back looking towards the front, we're on the right-hand side. We are literally standing in the triage and medevac would be standing where the cargo goes. And we are right up against the wall.
Right.
And we are looking towards the right-hand side, as in the outside of the ship would literally be right there. To the left is where the door would kind of be, because you've got that long area, and that's the other cap on the other end. There'd literally be a cap right behind us as well. And they do look door-like, because you've got to remember, that's the shape of their doors and corridors. So this is a corridor setup, but then it's been capped at either end with just standardized wall, and a door's been put on like over here where my like over here.
Yeah, well, right
If
there
you-
where your hands are. Is that the door to the where the bathroom is
Well,
now?
unless
and there's no separations anymore.
Unless on the Hermes it is a door, right? But again, if we get into the Apollo, like I can open up in game and we can go through the Apollo if you want, if we really want to go through this. But me and Argrid went through this with a fine tooth comb. Left hand side, and that's the back door. Oh man, all right, I'm not going to sit around with people. That's it, right? Let's just do it the proper way. Let's get in game. Let's do it. I'm not dealing with this shit. Right, hang on. Give me a second. I'm gonna load it up. And I do have an Apollo because they're on the sale, so I think they gave us an Apollo. And now make a lie out of me, and I won't have an Apollo. That's what'll happen. I'll get in there.
I don't have an Apollo anymore either. But you know
No,
what? I've
maybe
thought
I don't
about
have
getting
an
an
Apollo.
Apollo.
I'll just go rent one, or I can go into Arena Commander and rent one. Maybe I'll just go down to
AC. Just get AC.
Well, I'm at Lawville. I can just go into Theo and rent one. Hopefully.
If you need money, let me know. Like everyone in the game,
Are they
I'm currently a
rentable?
billionaire.
Well, yeah. Well, everyone's a millionaire. Are they? Oh, not a billionaire. I think I've only got like 15 mil left because I brought a gladiator to fly around.
I can send you
Yeah.
600 mil later if you want. Just message me.
Does anyone know if wait, let's see if this is gonna work. All right, cool. Sweet.
I'll go to Urkel and see if you can get up at Lawville. 1 second.
Yeah, Lawville, or it's gonna be Astro Armada will be the other one, won't it?
RSI Apollo triage can be got at.
Yeah.
Oh, could the triage not be got in game yet?
Shut up, John. Piece of shit. Hope you will. Have a good Christmas. Oh, I know you will, because Diane will be doing all the cooking. That's right. John's who I stayed with when I went to CitizenCon last year, and his missus makes the most amazing cookies and food, and like she's just, just whip this up. It's made out of leftovers, and it's like the best cottage pie I've ever tasted in my entire life. I'm just like,
yeah,
like it was just amazing. So yeah.
It's not in game for purchase yet.
God damn it!
The
All
Apollo.
right. Well, maybe we're getting in and doing this for nothing, but
yeah. Just check and see if it's in your list. If it's not your list, we'll just move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting though. I think a lot of people maybe were a bit whelmed by the Apollo.
Yeah.
And it's simply to use a phrase you use consistently. I think it's a cart before the horse thing.
Yeah.
Where once true medical gameplay's in, it'll be maybe more relevant.
They were so vague on it, weren't they? They didn't like spell out like really anything other than the distances on beds. They didn't talk about like operations or prosthetics or all this other stuff that we know that are tied to medical. It was just super vague. You see, look, I got my cape, and look how smooth it is. Like it's so smooth.
Yeah.
Look at the NPCs, man.
Vulcan is nice.
They're just walking around. This is Everest, man, on a live server. I've just never seen NPCs walking around like this. Like, it's nuts.
Well, give it a few days. You know how it is. Servers always start smooth. There you go. There's one on a. That's a
player. Yeah, it's he's stun mullet, right? Yeah. Let's have a look.
The global illumination is making things look spectacular as well. Altogether, this is a real pretty looking patch. Real pretty looking patch.
I don't have one. And there's not one rentable. Shit.
Well.
Is anyone on my friends list that has one? Yeah, Dragon Skull, jump in. Add me on friends. No, Dragon Skull, jump in. Oh wait. We can do questions. We can do this live. You're doing right. I'm known for doing it live. I don't give two shits. I'm not worried about it. Let's go. Someone jump in. Send me a friend request. We'll see it come up on screen.
I know Dragon. He's a good egg. And he's also a good resource to have. He's one of those whales who owns
I would
every
argue
single
he's a
ship in the
skull, not an egg, but okay, sure. Dragon egg. Yep. On the menu now, right? Yeah, thank you, Dragon. Appreciate it. Right. Because I just want to go through, because like there's so much to break down in that ship. Like it was so obvious to me in Argrid. Oh, there he is. Hang on, better grab that. Thank you, Dragon. We're at Everest. If you want to come to Everest, that'd be great. Let us know. Just wait here for you at the ASOP. When he starts jumping in front of us, we'll know he's here. Right.
Just be careful. He usually brings an armada of UEE ships behind him too. He can't behave himself, so just be ready for it.
Sounds like Argrid. He's always got a armada of red shirts behind him that says "Keep calm" and keep. So what was that joke from the other day? I was trying to remember.
Keep calm and carry on.
Yeah. Sorry. So in like 3 days we recorded like 7 episodes back to back because Argrid's going away, And so it's just a hodgepodge of like, you know, like almost like a month and a half's worth of episodes in like stuck in my head. And there was so many jokes backwards and forwards and stuff like that. Yeah. All right, let's do a question. So I didn't grab whose name this was, but they said, "Will young Agro grace us with the voice of Old Man Hurston? I heard the workers are getting ideas, thoughts." Well, Agrid left 2 days ago for his entertainment for up to the next. He said up to. He reckons he's only going to be gone. He said 3 weeks to 6 weeks, but he thinks he's only going to be gone for a month. So I reckon it's how long he lasts until he puts his back out. That's what I think it is. But
I think I think he wants an Old Man Hurston voice from me. So I'll do my best. Hang on. Must keep the weapons from the serfs, lest they gain power and overthrow us.
That is so. Wow, and listen. That's
Deck and Kane, yeah.
Yeah, Deck and Kane. Yeah, everyone just channels their inner Deck and Kane. Yeah. Oh my god.
Beautiful.
This poor Pete says until Agrid runs out of the blue chew. Oh, I hope he watches this back so much. Oh my god. This should just be this for the next 4 weeks. Just tearing the piss out of Agrid and yeah. It just comes back and goes, right, what did I miss? Hey, was that is that you, Skull? Is that you? Invite to party. I can't invite a friend, so get the invite? Yeah, invitation declined.
That's Dan McConnell. Dan McConnell.
Dan McConnell, that was really rude, bro.
Nothing makes me
he's gone. Right.
Nothing ever makes me as sad as random declining my party invite. We could have been together, you know.
Yeah.
We could have done things.
We could have got. Man, I've had some of the best epic adventures with people I've run into just making weird voice lines and stuff. The funniest one was I noticed another content creator and I changed my voice shitloads and started giving him shit, and then I just subtly steering the conversation towards other content creators on Twitch, and then I brought his name up and told him how bad he was, and then he got like super offended, and then I went, and by the way, it's Execute, and I went back into my normal voice and went, oh, you son of a bitch. It was so good. At the time.
It's always funny when you bump into the other content creators online. Like there's been a couple of times as well for me. One where I slapped into Neo, which was the original time that I bumped into someone. But another I could think of was the Shadow Moses boys. I was getting around on Grimhex. I like to go to Grimhex and shit talk everyone there. Tell them that they're poor examples of pirates, and if they were real pirates, they'd go to Pyro. And just rib them a little bit. And as I was walking around bad mouthing them all, Thumb came straight up to me and was straight away just like, "Bops." Yeah.
Have you
shut up?
Have you ever been with another? Because this is the one I had, right? I was with Expat, right, and she was fairly new back then, and we were at Orizon at the showroom, and she wanted to get some guns, so I took her there to like show where the guns and stuff was, and there was this other like man and a woman there, and they just walked up to us and went, and the woman went, "Expat, is that you?" And she went, "Yeah, it's me. What's going on?" And then just like they just went into this full-on conversation, like girls like noticing each other. It was so funny. And they go, "Oh, I'm with the Execute, by the way." And she went, "Who?" It was hilarious. I know, it's so good. Just Expat just assumed everyone knew who I was, and was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." It was funny as, yeah. Right. Should we do another question while waiting? I think we should.
Yeah. Yeah, we're waiting for Dragon.
I missed this one as well, so apologies on the name. Question: HUD and lighting options. Third-person jets are blinding. Night flying needs more options. They did bring that up in that ship Q&A that I thought was really interesting. Everyone's been wanting night vision, and they literally talked about just making the entire screen in the cockpit. It changes to night mode. I thought that's really cool. Just the whole glass just becomes night mode.
Even just a toggle, if you've got a helmet on, just a toggle to turn night vision on from your helmet as well would be easy enough. It's something we've needed for a while. But I do want to touch on one thing.
I think it goes slightly the other way, and it's only certain helmets.
Yeah,
you know how we're getting like certain suits to do certain things.
stealth suits, heavy armor suits.
Yeah. I think it needs to be certain ones. Well, then again, you could have 2 stealth suits. One has it and one doesn't. You know, but it gets something else. You know, so yeah.
The other thing too, because they did mention they were getting blinded, I've noticed this as well. Just to maybe a little criticism of the patch. The new global illumination looks fantastic, but we are getting real issues with like light to dark transitions. So even if it's as simple as pulling your Mobi glass up in a dark environment, when you pull your Mobi glass down, as your eyes adjust, you're completely blinded. So then we might be getting issues with that in cockpits. I haven't experienced yet myself, but I could see a world where if you're in a bright cockpit with a bunch of MFDs, it could be pretty difficult to actually see out the front of it.
In a world without MFDs. I need that movie voice trailer guy. In a world without movie MFDs.
In a world. Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna drink this because apparently my character's thirsty.
But yeah, we've needed it for a while. To be frank, there is a lot of just simple little convenient changes that we're still waiting on that I know are coming. That'll change everything. So, for example, when we first got the updated map, think about how much better that made the game. Nowadays, it's just a map, but when it first came, it was such a lovely update. The new inventory system that'll be coming in January, that'll be another example. Night vision is one that'll make things just simpler and easier for quite a lot of people. There's all these little quality of life things that we're still waiting on.
You know when you take the helmet off and you can kind of see in it. I want some of the helmets to have like Darth Vader eyes, you know, in the Star Wars when they put the costume in episode 3, they put on him and you can see the red lights and they kind of like come up to your eyeballs. I think they should actually put some effects on the inside of the helmet, so when you go to put it on, it's like, you know, and then you could actually then have it in on the 2D plane. It also just goes bright red and then fades back to clear. I reckon that like so just a couple, like again, that's just a couple of little effects, and all you do is make it change color depending on which helmet it is. I reckon that'd be amazing. Yeah. You do 2 or 3 little effects, and it totally adds to the immersion.
It's all about immersion. And this is the thing is, this is a game you can lose yourself in for hours and hours and hours if it immerses you and grabs you. So if you're doing like a playthrough where you're not going to put on a helmet, you're going to wear normal clothes, get into your 400i, go for a cruise down to Microtech, like you'll lose yourself for hours and hours. But when there's the little things that snap you out of that immersion, that's when you start to notice the wriggly little worms that bite at you, like the inventory bugs, or maybe there's a frame rate drop as you jump into somewhere or something. These things start to bother you. So immersion's really important, and little things like having an interface on the inside of your helmet is it can make the difference. Don't underestimate those little things. There's a great talk from about 20 years ago now in relation to Far Cry 2, where one of the guys from Ubisoft, he's left Ubisoft now, good. Ubisoft sucks. But he was talking about in Far Cry 2 how when you were getting in and out of the car in Far Cry 2, they wanted to show you getting in and out of the car. It was the first time they were doing these things. When you were changing guns, your character physically changed guns. He didn't just have a new gun appear in front of him. If he was taking medicine or fixing his wounds, you would see him bandaging and then maybe removing a bullet. And all these things drag you in and help you just lose yourself for hours, X. And I'm sure
I totally agree. But it can go too far too. I think Chris went a bit far with the wanting the elevators to be modeled out, because you're never going to see it. Like, he just wanted it for the rare cases where you could see out the window. Well, then if that's the case, just do just that elevator shaft. Don't do all the elevator shafts. Real quick, we've got a couple of first-time chatters there on Twitch. I do like to highlight people that show up for the first time. So
I might just go grab my coffee. It's upstairs, so I'll be back in 1 sec.
Okay, I'll wait till you get back then, because that one's specifically for you. And I'll just sit here awkwardly talking to myself. I was going to go, oh, Dragon Skull party invitation. Hang on, gotta get back in. Yep, got it. Where is he? Where is he? I see him. Up there. Is he up there? Wait. Nope. Is he called? Let's see if he's going in the elevator. While we're waiting for Bobs. Bobs, don't burn yourself on that coffee. See, Bobs can hear me, but he can't reply. I know him too well. Hey, Light Shanger. Alright, sweet. We can go straight down there and have a look. Right.
I heard you as I dashed away saying I'll just sit here awkwardly, because that one's for you, so I apologize. I'm back.
No, that's fine. Well, look at that.
It's on this.
I was like, you timed it perfectly. Dragon Slayer landed perfectly as I got here. Wait. That timing. Well
Okay, so
done,
you said
Dragon Skull.
You said there was a first-time chat or something.
Yeah.
There. Do you want to mention?
So Devil Dog Game says, or they start getting into helmet attachments like adding a scope to a rifle. You add a night vision goggles or thermal options to the helmet itself. So
Yes.
he was kind of agreeing with you. That's why I wanted to leave that one until.
Yeah, for sure. And I always like to bring up BattleTech and MechWarrior. In the MechWarrior and BattleTech games, it is, I'm pretty sure, most of the time wide, from what I understand, wide to the pilot, not the mech itself. So having a flick for thermal or a flick for NVGs, it's something that I think is quite simple, because I'm pretty sure it's just a visual filter when it comes to video games. You don't actually have to make a program that artificially captures light within an artificial environment. It can just be a toggled on filter. So they can do it. Maybe they've got plans for some implementation that we don't understand and the way they want to roll it out, but because they've waited a very long time.
So this is interesting. I'd like to get your opinion on this before I answer this one. So we've also got another first-time chatter called Mandy Brew. Says, I hope they have automated fire suppression. Even if it is a one-time use, it got invented back in the 1700s. Hard to believe they don't have that in the future. What is your reply to that, sir? Because I think you're probably going to agree with me, so go ahead.
Yeah, I like video games that are fun, and I want my engineers to have something to do. Yes, fire suppression is there, but guess what? We also live in a world where we have automated control over, like AI control over all of the systems of our ship, like our ship. So my computer toggles its heat down when it needs to. It brings its fans up when it needs to. It adjusts power naturally to help my system run better. Do I want my ship to be doing those things itself, or do I want to have manual control from the cockpit to give me another gameplay loop? I think fire suppression systems would take more from the game, and this is a multiplayer game, not a single-player game. So what you're doing is you're damaging the experience of the multiplayer environment selfishly for your own gameplay experience. So I think the fire suppression systems would be nothing but a bane to the game, not a boon.
I agree, and it's basically gameplay and fun over realism. I think the other thing I'd add is it's like in the movies and TV shows, they often don't do what is accurate for two reasons. If it's like a crime show, they love people to think that you can cut off a phone call after 30 seconds. Oh, yeah, they're running the trace. That's bullshit. As soon as you fucking call them, they know where you're from. It's total bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So they create tension and stuff like that. So again, having a fire, why don't they have a fire suppression on the International Space Station? You know, so again, there's just certain things. And yeah, while I agree it would be nice to have, in fact, I would go as far to say I reckon there probably will be some ships that do have it. Like like a really high-end luxury ship that is just like fireproof. Right? I could totally. Could you see that being like a one-off in a certain ship?
Yeah. Give them fire suppression system, but take away their shields or something like that.
Well, yeah, something like that. Like where maybe it's a Kruger thing where they, you know, they just they don't have fire extinguishers. They have fire suppression system. But the drawback is when it goes off, you can't fucking breathe. It just cuts all the air. Like it's like we'll save the ship, but you may die. You know,
Correct.
Or something like that. Correct. You know. So one of the first things I want to talk about is this ship, right? It's modulars within modules, right? So you got to remember, modularity to the devs is very different to what we receive, right? Essentially, it's what they present to us that is sold, right? That they put a bunch of them together and sell them. This whole back neck area here that is literally goosenecked, like it's look how it scales down, and then it's literally scales down again. You can literally see it. It's almost like a double funnel, right? That's to limit the size of the boxes so you can take it into that. But all of a sudden, if you take the entire dock out, and you can actually see where the module starts, it's here. You can literally see it, like, because this is the outside of the ship, and then this is dovetailed and pushed right up against. This whole thing is a seam, right? So that is an entire module that'll just slide out. And when I got Grim to look at it in the files, he confirmed it is a singular piece that is in a group, and you can literally pull the whole group out, right? And that even included the this door, right? You can actually see it as a piece. See how there's, and you can actually see see the little lines, like when I walk backwards and forwards. That's light coming through. That means that this is not connected. It's a separate piece, right? So
do you think?
My point being is, I think that this will be an elevator, not a door, on the cargo variant. because then you could put,
Do you
say,
think this?
2 or 4, depends how it's stacked, 32 SQ cargo containers, and they just go up and you bring them in.
Do you think this ship would have gone down better if it didn't have this like convoluted smaller system at the back? Like obviously they've shrunk it down for whatever reason. I still don't really understand why they've tightened this so much. Like what could we have done with the Apollo if this was larger? Used it for a little bit of cargo or something?
I think
like
that's all it is. They just didn't want you bringing really big cargo boxes in. I'm going to be honest. I think it should have been big enough to bring, you know, like 4 SCUs
8.
in here. But also this is a docking collar. This is a civilian and a capital docking collar. Not every ship gets a usually this size of docking collar is reserved for the bigger ships, like large. No, this is technically a large, right? It falls into a similar category as the Perseus, but there is S4s and I'd have to go back and look actually. I don't want to give out false information. But the point I'm trying to say is they are different style. You know, when you look at a constellation or an Apollo, they are far smaller than, say, a Carrack, which is at the extreme end. Because they're only, this ship's like was originally 43 meters, and I think it grew to 61. But then you got a Carrack that's twice the length at 126. You can see that it's a massive size and variation. It literally is bigger than all the 3 sizes that came before it. The point I'm trying to get to is this docking collar does not appear on ships this small. It just doesn't. It's usually for the bigger ones, you know, like 100 plus and up.
Was it you that said this was to? I think it was you who said this might be to dock to some of the bigger ships.
Yeah, it is.
So
that's what it's for. That hexagon is the capital docking collar. The circular one. So you see how it can adapt. See that closes off, and it literally. So because if I close it here, it literally. Where's the door thing? See? So that little ring is for the civilian docking collar, which you can see there, and then the big hexagon one is the capital one. So it allows you to have both on the same ship. So that's the secret of this ship. It is able to dock to any other ship that has a docking collar. It can literally dock to any other ship and then get people off, right? The cargo variant is very clearly not going to have this. It is more than likely, well, what, again, if it's not just a ramp, then it's probably going to be a cargo lift. And I think the cargo lift would be the preference for me. And the way it looks at the back of the ship, that's what I think it's going to be. The other thing was when me and Algrid went through and run through, if you actually go from this wall to this wall, it perfectly fitted lengthwise a 32 SU cargo container. And we worked out it could carry, I can't remember exactly how much it was, but it was similar to I can't remember what it was, but it was I'd have to go look it up. We talked about it in the episode. But
looking at this now, I think if you put I think I was right. I think the door that is a door. It's looking through here all the way to door that's further back in the ship. Like I think that wall there in front of you isn't there. The one with the white checkers. I think that's removed and it goes all the way back through.
If I can, is it still on? Yeah, it is. This is what I'm trying to emulate, right? So there's the game, and I know I'm not in the right height, obviously, guys, so please bear with me, but this is what I was trying to emulate. So you might call it it does actually look further away. Because there's only
I think it goes further
there's
away.
only 3 segments there, but then I see a 4th. So that tells me that half the ship is at least data running. So it does cut into the medical rooms.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right? And then it looks like there's a data rack there. Yeah, it's definitely different. Who's it? Oh,
Someone's at the back door doorbell.
Someone's at the back door doorbell, apparently. Right. Yeah,
you can go grab it if you want.
It's Christmas here, so when we have Christmas, they deliver. Nah, there's no one there. He's just dropped at the back door. I'll get it later. But the point I'm trying to make is, Christmas time on Saturday they deliver for Christmas. So that's why normally they wouldn't be here. That's why you've never heard that before. That's definitely the same but different. The lighting is completely changed. Like it's darker and browner and more moodier. And this is definitely more medical and Zeusy.
See, it's more sterile.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but it looks like, hang on, it looks like the light's not on. Go back. Is that a light on the roof that's just not on? Across the top, are those bar lights?
It could be that as well. But there's definitely changes, but there's definitely similarities that I can't unsee. But I'm seeing at least, I don't know if that's a 3rd segment, but I can clearly see that's a segment.
Definitely longer,
that's
though.
A segment. It feels like it's half as long again type of thing. Like, so if I go back to, Sorry, I'm having I don't usually flick between these two screens. So we've got a suit locker here, and then we've got the next one, but that is very definitely right up against there. But when I go back to here, one segment, two segments, and then it appears to be a third maybe, or maybe I'm seeing shit that's not there. What do you think? Is that a third, or am I seeing shit that's not there? Because they're different. I think they're just different panels.
This is one of two things. I think we're either looking from this room, or we're looking from the medical direction back. And I know you're saying this server rack, you're going to say this server rack looks just like this server rack to our right. But it could just be another one, right? Another one in the other room looking back from medical towards this area of the ship. You see what I'm saying?
So you reckon it's kind of like this?
But even further, I think you're in
from this side.
Yeah, actually, that looks like it. Look, that looks like the
So you think
the
it's
same
like...
pattern on the wall there. Yeah, but I think this wall behind you is removed. The wall that's directly behind you, I think it's gone. I think they've pulled that wall out. I think it extends just directly into the next area.
I think it might be extended, like it goes a little bit further. But also when I look at it, I'm starting to think I'm seeing something that's not there, because when I click between the two, I can see one segment here and one segment here, but I think that's not a segment. I think it's just a white thing on the door that's making me think it's a segment. And you can notice how it is still blue in parts and white in parts. Can you see that? Like, see up here on the strut?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm. You guys can't see what I'm doing because I'm telling Bops, but see, I'm talking about up here. So this is blue up here. It's still white. So this is a data rack clearly. So that's not a suit locker anymore. So you have to imagine these are all data racks now.
That's too long though. I think you're in the medical module. I think the medical module has been changed into this. I think we're looking at one of the modules connected. Not this room.
You've also got to remember we're zoomed in. We're like closer and higher up here, and I can't get up there.
Go back for me. Look, there's one strut here. There's one roof strut. In this photo, there's 1, 2, 3 blue roof struts. One roof strut here. See the one, and then 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So this is way longer.
So it's probably at least one more segment longer than this. So again, as I said, these walls are most likely gone, because if it is a cargo variant, you'd have to remove the walls. We did actually talk about this, but I know it's only got the size 3 modules. No, it's got a size 1 in here. Perfect. So one of the things me and Algrid were really sus on. Hang on, I just got to bring everyone else back over. I didn't do that. Sorry, apologies. Right, so we're at the bed. Is just how much extra...
Expat's in chat. Hey, Expat!
Jump in voice, Expat, if you want to join us. Is just how much extra space there is around these beds, and it was just superfluous. We couldn't figure out why. Why did the ship grow by 20 meters and then there was all this extra space? And you add a second variant, and all of a sudden it makes so much more sense. It actually grew because of the variant, not so much because of the medical one. In fact, the medical one, they even took rooms out. Remember how it had a waiting room? Like out here was meant to have like a desk and a table and all this shit, and that all pissed off. It's gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I know. I always want to be careful when I criticize ships, because I know a lot of people put a lot of effort and a lot of love into this ship. But when I see the Apollo, I very often think to myself, like, that it feels rushed. There's so much good here. That medical bed looks phenomenal. Those glass windows look phenomenal. The white and blue altogether looks phenomenal. But the space just isn't used effectively. It's like they had too much space in there and they didn't know what to do with it. And
it's why me and Algrid started looking. We're like, there's something up. There's a variant or something here, because this doesn't add up. And we've done enough ships now where we can notice when things are off. And it's the same thing in the Clipper, by the way. When you walk through the Clipper, you start to notice all this extra space. Like, why? And the most obvious one is the medical bedroom. They literally separated the terminal and the goo and put them on 2 separate sides of the room to fill out the space. Why isn't that just... So think about the Pisces. It literally has the terminal and the goo is right underneath it. This has a terminal, and then there's another terminal that the goo goes in. Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah.
You know?
But I didn't... But here's the thing. I didn't pay... I mean, I didn't pay for an Apollo at all, but I didn't pay for an Apollo... for a Hermes. I paid for an Apollo. You know, I didn't pay for a variant. If I'm an Apollo owner, I paid for a Apollo that had a fully featured, fleshed out inside with the drones and stuff. So I don't know. This is one of those ships that some land and some stick the landing, like the Clipper. You mentioned the Clipper, huge win. This one
Didn't realize that was actually a raid from Expat. Expat, thank you for the raid. Oh, apparently we reached some kind of goal. What does that say? 2,500 followers on. Oh, apparently we're 2,500
Let's
followers on
go!
Twitch.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the real docking either. Yeah, well, again. So we'll just go over it real quick, just to bring you guys the highlights. I don't know what you're here for and what you missed. This is a docking collar that works on both civilian and capital ships. More than likely that this is a module. We've kind of had it confirmed by Grim because we told him about it and he went and looked at it, and you can actually group this entire, you can actually see how it's flush up against the here. So this whole section comes out, it's almost double entrunked. Yep. And so basically, if you were to change this over to a cargo variant, instead of a ramp, you could literally have an elevator that comes up and brings, like, say, 32 SU cargo containers into the ship. If you look at the sneak peek that was out today, it appears we're having a little arguments over the room, but heated debate, not arguments. I go here and flick between the sneak peek and here. You can see the similarities. I'm not at exactly the right angle, obviously. But you can see the colors there. You still have the blues, you still have the whites, just got different lighting. But again, these appear to be data running modules. And again, you can see the blues and stuff up there. I think that kind of brings people up to speed. And now what we're talking about is this in fact longer, and have they taken out the walls of the medical beds? So yeah. That kind of cover everything.
Hello.
Hey, Expat, how you doing?
Expat.
Yeah, I'm just jumping in very quick because you're looking at the Apollo.
Yeah, sure.
So I agree with you. I think there's loads more space than they knew what to do with. I think it's very awkward. I think the entrance and exit and everything has been very specifically made so that you can't put a NERSA and you can't really do the traditional medical gameplay that we've done before. But you know, I don't know why. Maybe that's because of the drones. You've shown me the drones before, and they go like floating up and floating down, but like I don't see how that works in this ship. But we'll see. But I think overall, I get, unfortunately, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about it, but it does seem like it was just a bit lazy. I don't like that there isn't proper crew quarters. I know it's supposed to be like, you know, you get in and you go in and you do the job quick, but they did put beds in it. So, I mean, who would want to sleep there? I wouldn't want to sleep there.
I didn't even think about that. Do they add normal? Yeah, I mean, in the Hermes though, the data runner, do they take up some of the space for extra crew? And the other thing you brought up was the drone. Do they add it so the drone can all of a sudden like load cargo?
I think the idea of all the space around is that the floating drone can go into the room. So they've obviously got they've obviously got a concept of what this floating thing is. It's got to be about the size of a person. It's got to not collide with everything it bumps into. So it's got to be able to come out and turn.
Hang on, breathe. Literally is a floating stretcher, so when it comes back it just hovers above the ground and you just push it like it's a stretcher that hovers. So it's a hover trolley.
It does.
Yeah.
It is a hover trolley, so they have to make space for the hover trolley. Unfortunately, what happens is that because they've made all this space for the hover trolley to be able to turn and move and probably have two of them parked outside of those doors, it creates this kind of awkward scenario. What they could have done, which could have been quite neat, is remember they did have that kind of reception area. They could have done something like what they have on the Phoenix, where they've got like a table that drops up and down, and they could have had like a retractable reception table.
That's an RSI thing, but also I think that's why it's gone, because it's just too much in the way for the trolleys to go around. I think you've answered your own question.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, but I mean, you could have a retractable this, or you could, you know, the one thing I just don't like about it is it's got all this height now, and it's got all this like I felt like with the original design, when I looked at it, it felt like the nacelles on it were more in proportion to the like body or something. Now it feels like it's all body and no nacelles, and it kind of loses that Trekkie. I know it's not supposed to be Star Trek, but it loses a bit of that Trekkie vibe, you know what I mean, to me.
I've talked to Argrid about this a lot at length, and I've mentioned it a few times here on the channel, but I have this massive nagging concern now where there's been this massive push for variants. Almost every ship we see coming down the pipe, unless it's like a large ship, like say a Perseus, and I still wouldn't rule out kits on a Perseus like Grim talked about. But my point being is they seem to be just like, how can we on-sell? How can we on-sell? How can we, you know, like the Meteor and the Ravens and all that, like they just
it takes less resource, X. You know this. Like at the end of the day,
they've got all
of the engineering done for how it flies. And
I know why, right? But it's the other side of it as a consumer. I brought this thinking I was getting something unique, something cool, and now I'm sharing with my brother or my sister, and they want to be in the sand pit, and there's not enough sand. You know, so I'm at the bottom of the sand pit.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a sand pit that's really small when you're a kid? And I remember making a sandcastle that literally took up all the sand, and it was just like the bottom of the pit was like concrete or whatever, and it was just like just right to the top. So the point I'm trying to make is they don't feel special and unique anymore. They just feel like, again, this Apollo felt special, and now they've just made this Hermes, and it's just like, oh, and by the way, it's just like a data runner cargo ship that also treads on the MSR. So the MSR was special and unique.
What have they made? What have they made?
So in the files, there is a ship called the Apollo Hermes, or RSI Hermes.
No, come on.
Right? And Hermes, as you know, because you're a history person, is one's Greek and one's Roman, the same name as Mercury, right? And that is the god of many things, but one of the things they're the god of is heralds. Mercury, Hermes, Herald are all data runners in this game. So, and again, you look at their sneak peek, they're data running banks, right? And if you actually go into the game live now and you look at in the Apollo, we couldn't unsee these as soon as we saw them. We went, there's a data running variant coming, because they are data banks just with the modules covered up.
Oh.
You see, and we knew it straight away. We did an entire episode called the Apollo Hermes. We did it, and it had a lot of views because people saw what we saw. Just how it is.
Yeah, but I mean, are they just gonna make an Apollo variant that is just the do all ship? Like you can have a medical thing in it.
We don't know.
Other...
The only thing I can go by is it's got to be something similar to the Mercury, which is like half cargo, half data running. But what I'm hoping is it's not cargo. I'm hoping it's something else, because again, you take the Apollo, you take the Mercury Star Runner, and you make this Hermes. It treads on both of them. It takes the cool looks of the Apollo.
Wait a minute.
And the functionality of the Mercury Star Runner.
Just last question for me is, do you see, well, apart from where do the doctors sit and where do the doctors sleep? Anyway, apart from that, do you see an actual use case for the Apollo in its current configuration with the number of med beds? Does that gameplay exist in the future? Like
yes.
with the biggest hopium and copium hat on, does that possibly exist? Why would I put millions and millions of AUEC worth of med gel goo in this thing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is there a future for this in the way that they've currently done it?
Yep, because
I think yes, and I think
you've got different security levels straight off the bat. So you've got high security, low security, medium security. So you can just stay in a higher security area if you're worried about losing your goo. Simple. The difference between this and the Galaxy, for example, is it's only 2 people. When you take a Galaxy, you've got the module itself that gives you absolutely everything. You can also take a C8R, and you can also take a Nurser with you. But you've got to pay for all those extra people to run that ship. This entire ship runs on 2 people. And it can technically have more beds of a certain type than the Galaxy King. So this one's more versatile, but you've got to choose your beds wisely. So there's a really cool juxtaposition there. Anyway,
there's more to that too. So there's 2 things that we need to consider with medical gameplay. There's the on-field hot drop medical gameplay where you're screaming in an Nurser to pick someone up, or Terrapin medical using the armor of the Terrapin medical to like hit the battlefield, right? And then there's the backline medical stuff that's going to be going on. I don't see a world where you're flying a medevac into the middle of a combat zone. You might be in an area that is low security, but I don't think you'll be flying it into the combat zone. I think it'll be backline support. But let me just finish too. Then there's the second part.
One sentence, which was that's what I think the triage was really meant to be, because it had the extra armor originally, and I think that's kind of fallen off.
And then the second thing is, and this is the important one, Expat, is medical gameplay is subject to change and will change very soon, as I'm sure you're very aware of. I think given 2 years, there will be things that can only be done in something that has medical facilities like the Apollo, right? So be that surgery or particular operations, or maybe I don't know. I'm not a medical guy. It's not really my thing. But I think
one example
that it will
would
achieve.
be prosthetics. They've talked about prosthetic legs, prosthetics arms. There was in that design document that came out, there was so much shit in the past that they did not bring into the future. It was one of the most vaguest game design docs I've ever seen. They didn't really what's the real differential between a tier 1, 2, and 3 bed other than distance? But they didn't go into all that, and we know there are massive differences between the three. But they didn't allude.
It's cart before the horse.
I hope that they introduce more.
Absolutely.
I hope that they introduce ways of us customizing the interiors of our ships. I know they've showed it at Citizen Combat. I hope they let us customize. Like when I see a bare room like this with a single bed in the middle, all I can think is like, let me go in there and put some stuff and put some decoration and maybe give it some extra function. Maybe I can put some, crafting in the corner. Maybe I can do, you know what I mean? I hope we get a bit more to.
I can see you and your mum in this room.
It seems the ships are a lot more bare bones.
And like little tea cozies everywhere, and like it's a little cottage. And
yeah, I know, but it just seems like they're making them more bare bones so that we can take over. But I'm looking forward to us taking over. Yeah. But yeah, as far as the medical gameplay goes, yeah, it's going to change. I get it.
There is a big juxtaposition.
I would imagine that this ship has just become a respawn machine. This just looks like a respawn machine now.
That's what it is currently.
Yeah, that's what it is currently. But again, you look at the difference between 1 med bed and 3, right? Well, this is 2, but when you have 3, it does have a third in here, right? And the third is even on an angle because they needed more space. So it's just, again, it's literally a cart before the horse problem. That is literally what this is. And when they come back and go around again, I guarantee you it's going to change. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see more medical next year, but I think the focus at the moment is getting base building in for Squadron's release. Right, and that is all hands on deck type of thing to pull off, and you've got to have something that you can extract out of the game. So salvage and mining are the 2 things that do that. The missing link at the moment is refining, so I think they'll probably add a refining module into one of the buildings, and then you can also then do building, right? And then they also talked about possibly the Expanse coming next year, which is also refining, and then obviously your base builders. The build's been sitting there since CitizenCon last year, pretty much kind of ready to go, and you've got your basic A to B drones as well in there. So what other they talked about the Forge, right? And that's on hold at the moment, but we also know the Pioneer's being worked on as well. So there's a bunch of base builders there as well, and I think.
Do you think the data running Apollo though is
before we change subject? You've also got to remember that little hand trolley thing that we push around. I think that is going to be the predominant thing that they want to, because it starts at the bottom and everyone can do base building with that little hand trolley thing. So we know that's a thing, and we've seen it revised.
I want to finish off this
go for it.
Topic you had about this Apollo that they're introducing. Do you think that they're going to make a Apollo that is just like a cool looking ship that is just the all-rounder, just like a Connie?
I think
just like a whatever, you know what I mean?
I think that's what the Hermes is.
It's just a Connie, but it looks different.
I think that's what the Hermes is.
And it's got more guns.
No, I don't know about,
like a turret.
I don't know about guns, right? Because obviously we haven't seen this thing, right? But the Hermes is just the fact that it's called a Hermes tells me it's a data runner. And the fact in the files it was an Apollo Hermes, and the fact that you look at that sneak peek, that is clearly not the same room as the room that we just looked at, but it is incredibly similar, right? It's got the same stylings and everything like that. To me, it's undeniable now that the Hermes is going to be a data runner in some description, right? But I can't tell you what out here's going to be. Is it going to be cargo? Is it going to be more data running? Is it going to be living quarters? Is it literally just a pure data runner and you don't do any of the cargo like on the MSR? Who knows?
All we got from the leak was it has a tractor beam. That's all we really know. Is it's got a tractor beam.
So you're going data runner from a tractor beam and a picture.
No.
It's okay. I love it.
No.
I love it.
No. You got to understand though that there is an
No.
MSR in the game, and it does, and CIG themselves.
I get it.
CIG themselves is literally called data running a form of cargo, right? And so you have the MSR that does
Okay.
cargo and it does data running. This has data running and it's got a tractor beam, which tells me it's got cargo, right? Like it's not fucking rocket science. It's literally just connecting dots. You got a tractor beam, you've got data running, and you can clearly see it in the photo. They are data running banks, right? And the name Hermes is literally the same name as Mercury. And it ties to the Herald as well. That's all the data runners in the game besides the Raven.
Expat, there's been a couple of other leaks too, like data uploading leaks and stuff like that that's been happening. So they need like a ship to launch data running with.
Yep.
So why not do it with?
And I think the plan was to have this for
RSI
December, and it's probably not going to make it now. But they're sneak peeking it, so it's probably coming in January or early next year. Unless it's literally, as I said, my only hope left for it coming this year and them not breaking their streak is Boxing Day. Because I think the person at marketing has been really on point this year. Nobody's got money right now because of Christmas, but in a week's time, everyone's been given their money from Christmas. Hey, how about you buy this new Hermes?
What would you like to see in Apollo variant, Expat?
Yeah.
Like if you, because obviously I can feel emotion attached to the Apollo in some way or another. Yeah. So you've been given the reins to do something with an Apollo and make it the Apollo Expat. What are you doing with it? What's your angle of attack?
I will answer that, but very quickly. For Avalon Scorpion in the chat, you're getting this manned right now. It's very difficult for us on Discord because one person's in Dubai, the other people are in Australia. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult to. Sometimes we'll talk over each other. We don't mean to do it. And we get passionate.
Yes.
So, we're gonna say this. I think that if they're gonna do if they're just gonna say, right, we're not 100% sure on the medical only facilities on the Apollo, if we're not 100% sure where medical gameplay is going to go, but we like the look of the ship and we've made a lot of space, and there potentially a lot of this space could be used for other ways. It might just be that they've given it to a designer or a design team and they've looked at it and gone, here's a bunch of different concepts. What do you think? And if I was going to do any Apollo, it would be almost like a Connie. But the thing is, it would just be another, like, you'd have good living space, you'd have the ability to put a vehicle in it, you'd have a little bit of cargo at the back. I mean, it's just another big volume ship.
Okay,
it's got a big chunky bit of volume in the middle, and you could do all kinds of things with it. So I mean, I want to see carpets. I want to see a carpet in a ship. I want Star Trek.
What do you think this is, Aladdin? A whole new world?
Like
a whole new world. Right, I got a question. Seriously.
No, seriously.
Now, serious question. Which one of these sharks appeals to you? And Bobs, which one do you think would be the most expat-like shark out of these ones? The black tip, just the tip, or I'm thinking the lemon. I think it's a bit of a lemon. Or the wobble gone.
Wobble gone.
The wobble gone. Expat's the wobble gone. Right, expat. Which one would you pick if
nice.
you were... Which shark do you think represents you the best? I'm going somewhere. Trust me, this is a joke, but I'm going somewhere. Which shark represents you the most?
Right. Obviously, I spent way too much on Star Citizen already, so I'll go with the whale shark.
Oh, the whale shark. Right, so what I'm thinking is, because I started thinking of you and your job, right? And I went the Mako. So what if you took the Mako and you made that into this?
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's the Apollo Polywong or Wollygong or whatever it's called, or the lemon, or the
dude. If they
whale
made
shark.
If they made just a OB in the industry, we call it an OB van. So it's basically a television studio, like a mobile television studio with big screens and cameras and all this kind of stuff. Look, if they just decided, you know what, screw it, we're just gonna make a ship for the sake of the lore, You know, no one's going to want to fly it. No one's
Yeah.
going to, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to be, hey, this ship exists because lore.
Well,
I
that's already
would be
in
okay
the
with
game.
it.
I mean, there's the
You know?
there's the reliant, the media reliant that
But
no
it-
one ever
but
flies.
imagine if-
Yeah.
Imagine if this was a flying TV studio with green screens and stuff like that, so you could actually have a TV studio in the back and literally
Honestly,
have all these green screens that you could change and put any scene. So you know the only constants? Take the only constants and essentially put it in this. So you could literally film
A
your own
lot
stuff
of
in game,
people-
and yeah, it'd be
I'm not
popular.
even kidding. A
It'd be
lot of
popular.
people would love
Yeah.
an actual like television studio place, or
Mhm.
like, you know, they could have like little cameras. I mean, look, this all at the end of the day, they just take a ship and they figure out what are we going to do quick as possible that's going to sell a bunch. Why don't we just put a bunch of cargo in it? Why don't we just put a refiner on it? Why don't we just put why don't we just say it does crafting? Why don't we, you know,
Hang on, Expert.
it's gonna,
Expert, 2
I'm
seconds.
sure they're gonna do something.
Cameron ST, thank you, SC. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs to Fluens, Dr. S'mores, Dejoko, Delta, Indian Charlie, Kilo, and Blacksmith. Thank you very much. Make sure you guys say thank you to Cameron for your subs. Right, sorry, Expert, continue.
I hope whatever they do with the Apollo, my hope for whatever ship that comes out is that they think about the feelings that we have that are not gameplay. That it's not about necessarily exactly what the thing does, but when I go on board, I should feel like this is a real thing and I am a citizen, and I wouldn't sleep on those beds behind the captain's seat. I wouldn't want to sit on that rubbish little, you know what I mean? I like the Clipper. I'm a big Clipper fan because the Clipper feels like it's a bit more real. More ships that feel a bit more real. That's what I miss from the old designs. A lot of the older designs, and the Zeus got it right, to be fair. The Zeus got it really right.
You do know these are escape pods as well, though, right?
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I would want to escape in it if I was forced to sleep in this constantly with all the beeping and the whizzing and the light coming through.
Well, I get what you're saying though.
I would get out.
It's what we were talking about before about immersion. You know, you want to feel like you're in this universe, and you're not going to get any sleep if you don't have like the privacy. If you're just sitting there in the cockpit, and I get it. You're not. This isn't your room at home. You maybe don't need that privacy.
Yeah.
You're at work when you're in a ship like this. But it is these like big open spaces that are almost agoraphobic within a claustrophobic environment like space. So there's this disconnect between like the agency of a human and how it would operate within a situation like this as comparative to something like the Clipper, where you have those slight moments of privacy and there's that sense of purpose to every room, and every single piece of space is used without feeling crowded, and it helps build that immersion and drag you in. So I totally get what you're saying, X. I 100% agree with you.
I always say that. You said it with wonderful words as well.
Sorry, Expert. First time chatter before they go off the screen. As Snapdragon TV says, the whole Origin lineup only serves a lore purpose at the moment. Lol. So he's agreeing with you, essentially.
He's right.
Sorry, continue.
It's not necessarily about just making ships. Anyway, I'm not going to derail your whole podcast into like, things like this. But at the end of the day, before I go, I'll say the only thing I'll say is this: a lot of people in Star Citizen take for granted the moments in Star Citizen that make them believe and make them really love the game. Like, you don't love something because it's functional necessarily. You love something because of those things that you don't realize. Like when you go into New Babbage and you're walking around and you see all the detail in the textures and you see the gym that you can't use, but people are exercising there. All of these things go into the magic of this game, and it's for free. It is literally for free. All you have to do is make it feel somewhat realistic, you get it for free.
Can I just add to, I see what you're saying, but I say this a lot, it's a cart before the horse thing. I think as more and more gameplay comes online, I actually think eventually one day you will be able to go to the gym. You will be able to work out, and they've even fundamentally talked about if you lift boxes a lot, you'll get stronger. They literally have talked about that as a mechanic. So how could you speed that up? Well, you could literally go to the gym and pedal on a bike or whatever, and it'll make you stronger, as an example, or lift weights, right? So the point I'm trying to make is I think all these are coming eventually. It's just how long is that going to take? Like, look at I was listening to Astropub record an episode today that's not out yet with Space Tomato, and he was literally talking about how you look at different MMOs. and they're still adding things to this day. And I instantly thought World of Warcraft. Their next release is adding housing. That thing's been out almost 20
Oh,
years.
great.
And they don't have housing. We're getting
That's
housing
kinda cool.
straight off the bat. You know, so like, you know, every game's different and does it in different ways.
Well, it's expat. Just because I want to agree with you before, is you're right. And that magic is what makes Star Citizen Star Citizen. When you like see your ship come up out of the hangar, and it's your favorite ship, and you get into it, and you take off, and you fly away from the planet, and see the clouds behind you, and jump to another system, and then scream on down into a hot combat zone where there's NPCs firing with your buds. Like that chain of consistent gameplay, moving from location to location in a ship that makes you feel like you're in that universe, and then landing somewhere where you feel like you're in that universe. I mean, think about what it feels like to land at an ASD facility comparative to what it feels like to land at one of the old school bunkers. The old school bunkers just felt like I was turning up to like a little bit of a gameplay. Oh, this is the first person gameplay, right? But if I turn up to an ASD bunker, one of the modern ASD bunkers, I'm involved. There's mystery, there's darkness. Am I going to bump it? What's around every corner, right? Did I bring the gear that I needed to bring to this event, and et cetera, et cetera. So that magic is so important because that's what makes video games so awesome. They're that escape. And if you're bumping into things that are pulling you out of that, it can be pretty frustrating, and it can complicate the emotions that you're having with the video game that you're trying to enjoy and escape and lose yourself in. So I'm going a long way around to say I 100% agree with you. I think you're right, and especially for someone like yourself who does like the machinima stuff, like that's what it's all about, is dragging people in.
Down with the colored loot boxes that say loot on them. Like I do. If you've played Arc Raiders, you'll know exactly what I mean. How cool is it just to go into a place and search a little cupboard or search a little thing and find, you know, that's exploration. That's exploration.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying there's more to come. It's only going to get deeper as time goes on. I do agree with you, right? We've got that at a base level right now. That's just a base level. I think the other thing I'd add about Arc Raiders is like you go out somewhere where no one goes, or you try to go where there are places that other people don't go, and you'll often get rewarded. You'll find like a weapons crate or something like that, and maybe even a blueprint in these areas. Like that game literally rewards you for like I've seen things where the people have found entire vent trails above the maps where you can literally run through almost the entire level on top of vents and find stuff like that. And you see similar things like that in Star Citizen where they've put little things in and stuff like that, and they hide little knickknacks. I think that'll only get deeper as time goes on, and they'll reward you for the natural exploration. But yeah, I think we're at a baseline.
Sometimes I feel like Star Citizen in the last couple of years has had a bit of an identity crisis between being a video game, like I'm a video game guy, and being like this, you know, world that we go out and explore. And I hope that somehow they manage to navigate their way back to something that feels a little bit more, you know, naturally immersive. But I mean, definitely the designers who made ASD know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's just because Squadron's been the focus. Next year is going to be really interesting, right? Because we're going to see Squadron, like, hopefully, like me and Paul and Agrid have done an episode on it that was going to come out this week, but then this idiot turned up, and basically this amazing episode with me and Agrid, and so that's going to come out this week instead on engineering, and so I've had to push that one back a week, but that'll be coming out the week after. Cameron SC, thank you for the sub as well on Prime.
I better get going. Hopefully Yogi gets a chance to watch this, and you know, because Bops streams every day, and I don't know why Yogi hasn't gone into that chat.
He hasn't turned up.
Yeah, I don't
think he knows. I don't think he knows. I think Yogi had all those complaints, and he just put his fingers in his ears, and he's just checked out.
Fair enough too, by the way.
Yeah.
We love Yogi.
Yeah.
Expat. Make sure you get in touch with me too, because my guys love your stream and they want us to do something together. They're bothering me, so I'm gonna start bothering you. And we should do something soon.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Right, guys, happy Luminalia, and you guys have a good time.
Yeah,
okay.
Same to you. Have a good Christmas.
Don't stay up too late.
Give your mum a big sloppy kiss for me when you see her. Because
will do. A really sloppy one.
Yeah.
I'll see you, bud.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya. She's great, Expat. We love Expat.
Yeah. Dragon Skull, thank you for letting us tour your Apollo. I really appreciate it, mate. Yeah, that was awesome.
As a reward for you letting us tour your Apollo, you can give me one of your ravens. There you go.
Give me
Easy
one.
done, Dragon.
What,
Yeah.
but he's got multiple ravens, does he?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
all do.
Well,
They're
I
in the
saw.
Raven Club, those nuts.
I remember where there was a guy that brought his Apollo to show me when I was in game, and he'd had it out for a week before reclaiming it, and he had this skin on it, and you couldn't even tell it was this skin until you got to the back, and you could just see a couple little flakes of gold on the in the cell there, because the whole front of it had just gone white. So yeah, some of the damage models in the PTU were like so turned up, it was crazy.
The damage model for that ship, the Apollo, is nuts. I was talking. We had this conversation where you were talking about exactly this, and I said, yeah. It was the night before we found one with this skin parked near Saccharins on Pyro 4. Yep. And it looked like it had been through hell and back. It was like the paint looked awesome. It just been stripped from it. So, yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
I hope that Apollo gets some love in the future. Very cool ship, but just needs some love.
I find that there's just so many features that are starting to come online that they've been talking about. Like we were going through a thing. I was on a stream with Space and Astro during the week, and they were drinking, and they were literally finding lines talking about engineering coming next year, but it was from 2016, and we've only just got engineering like this week. It's crazy. It's like what? That's like 9 years. Like what? And again, it was before kind of Space Tomato had turned up and even done content. Like that's how long ago it was. So yeah, this game has just had some massive ups and downs. You got to remember the whole reason why Squadron got delayed was people to planet. It was just a first-person and flying game, and they had no planetary stuff. Like you remember the Connie that flied into the landing zone and it had to go down that tunnel thing. That's all gone now. It's all been changed and upgraded massively. That takes time.
There's the stuff that we don't acknowledge enough too. Like there was the court case, which really slowed things down.
Yep.
Really, like a lot of money went into that. Like I have a law degree. Lawyers are not fucking cheap. And the amount of money they would have had to spend to make sure they came out of that with a company that's still functional will have been a lot. So there have been speed bumps, but the good news is that we're getting there. Think about how much
the thing.
We've got Pyro, we've got Nix, we've got engineering, we've got all of these new features that are coming. Persistent entity streaming. We've got our first versions of dynamic server meshing in its own way. Like so much has come in the last 2 years. I've never seen the pace at what it is now. So
again, because
the vision's been realized.
We're seeing those people moving over from Squadron because it's becoming polishing. They can go start doing work on Star Citizen, and it's only going to happen more and more as things get polished, because people have less to do on that as it gets towards 100%, and then they move over. I just want to say with the court case, one of the things that will perpetually always piss me off, right, and this is why I'll never probably buy a Crytek game ever again, is when that court case was about to be dismissed, CIG just went say, you pay our legal costs and it's over. And then then Crytek said, we can't afford to, we'll be bankrupt. Because they downgraded their lawyers to pay less and less because they couldn't afford to pay their lawyers anymore. This was all a money grab from Crytek. And they were using the fact that it was player funded to essentially get CIG to capitulate and give them what they wanted, which they were never going to do because it was going to cost them even more money. So it was just, you know, and then and anyone that was obvious, do you know what ended the whole court case? Was they went to Amazon and basically said, can you tell us if you gave how much you charge them for a license of Amazon Lumberyard? And they said, well, normally we wouldn't do this, but we actually contacted CIG and they gave us permission to tell you, and they literally said we gave it to them for free. They have a full license for free. And the court case was over. It was just done because they didn't have a leg to stand on, because basically the license was not a Crytek engine license anymore. It was a Lumber engine license, and they had full perpetuity. So they had everything. And so basically overnight, and then CIG just turned to them and said, pay our legal costs and we're done and we won't have to see you. And they basically, I don't know what happened there, but basically think it just ended and CIG just decided it was easier just to end it rather than pay more money to try and get the money back that they weren't going to get because Crytek didn't have it. So Crytek caused all this damage and they got away with it. I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that shit, but I would wait till the last week and then I would slam them because they've been dialing, like they've been building Hunt Showdown and they're milking that for all it's worth. So now go back and do damage to them and get your money back. Yeah. That's what I'd be doing. And I think it probably went through Elwyn because at one point they even tried to accuse Elwyn of being like a bad lawyer, like because there's this thing that you got to do, and they basically said he was conflicted because he did this and this, and it's like a big no-no in lawyer terms to do that shit. And he basically said, you do this and I'll personally sue you, right? he's got all the time in the world then because he's a lawyer. So they backed off on that claim. But I just, how can you do that? I don't know, it just seems evil to me to basically try to get all this money out of people, get no punishment, and then like they just got off scot-free. It just shits me.
Yeah, that's welcome to the wide world of law.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's a reason that there is a reason that I am not a lawyer. I have the degree, but I do not practice because I hate the world. I hate the environment.
Pete says it in chat. An eye for an eye makes better games. Wow. No, I don't. Yeah, I'm being vindictive. Yes, I am, Pete. I'm sorry. I am being vindictive, but I'm so annoyed by it. That held CIG up for 2 years, and it was never anyone that knows what was happening. It was never going to go anywhere because that we all knew they didn't have a leg to stand on, but they were just dragging CIG through the mud at the hopes that us backers would get so mad that they would capitulate. But they were never going to capitulate because they'll just come to us and say, if we capitulate, it's going to cost us more money. So there was just no way.
And they don't understand how deep Star Citizen players' pockets are. Do you remember what Algorand said the other night? I think he was on my stream, actually. I don't think we were on Inforunners. I think he was over on my stream and having a yap with me. And we were talking about when Star Citizen first came out, there was someone, we won't mention his name, but someone on YouTube who was pretty critical of the project. And I quote Algorand as saying, and every single time he said that Star Citizen was going to fail, I would go put another $1,000 into the pockets of Star Citizen. Yeah.
And the Crytek thing pissed him off as well. He's like that. He's just like, you pissed me off, cool. You have more money. Like he gets very he can be quite vindictive as well. I don't know if it's an Aussie thing or whatever, but like I don't know, maybe it's just something we share in common there. But it's passion. It's just passion. Again, when you followed as close as me and Agra do, and we were hearing about it every day for 2 years, it was just like, oh God, this is like it's never going to go anywhere. It was real obvious. And be it all these other media people, right, were like, oh, the sky is falling, suck shit, because again, it makes them money. You know, they're just all about the clicks. Anyway,
drama brings clicks. Hey, the stream questions channel isn't working, just so you know.
It's pretty much dead because the bot is not working. So what I've been doing is I've been putting it. We've only got 4 questions on the Q&A on YouTube, and a couple more.
There's
questions.
Been a few coming through on Twitch.
I've been missing them. Then. All right,
also, I'll whip through and grab them now.
I can't see any. All right, well, there's another one here that we haven't asked, which was from Cody Fox, who says, question, speaking of bounty hunting, is there any word on CIG doing anything to fix the loopholes that already allow bounty hunting targets with super high crime stats to just hang out at New Babbage to prevent you from getting them?
So this is, can I vent here? Can I vent on this
please.
One? So bounty hunting is my main gameplay. At the moment, I'm in Pyro and doing lots in Pyro, but usually I live in Pyro and operate in Stanton to hunt bounty targets. Problem is that right now the bounty hunting system and the UI interface is completely busted, so you can't take multiple bounties, which is part of bounty hunting, being able to get a list of the targets and then find the ones, sort of chain them as you move around Stanton. So there's already problems with the UI interface and how bounty hunting is working at the moment. There's a problem with consistently losing your licenses and having to reclaim them again and again, which is already a pain in the backside. But then you have this other problem, and this is the biggest one. It's the one he's talking about, where someone with a crime stat can hide indefinitely within a location, and you're just forced to sit there and look. And look, if they're AFK, I get it, but they should. The only safe houses for bounty hunters should be outside of UEE space. And to see someone who's got a crime stat 4 sitting inside a satellite base that's orbiting New Babbage or orbiting Hurston or whatever it might be is incredibly frustrating. And we were just talking about immersion. It's immersion breaking. Why aren't the UEE taking him down? And again, this might be a cart before the horse thing where one day the UEE operatives on site will just shoot on site. But for now, there's nothing. It's fine when I'm sitting at Grim Hex and I'm seeing someone inside Grim Hex because. Yeah, I don't know, yada yada, law, magic, space magic, whatever. It's a safe zone and you can't get to them. But when they're sitting in freaking Lawville with a crime stat 4 and I'm waiting for them to come out, it is the most frustrating thing and completely immersion shattering. So I feel you, whoever it was that asked that question. I'm sure they'll do something about it, but for now, we just have to suffer in our jocks. I know. What do you think, X?
So I think back to some of the original bounty hunting design docs way back in the day, and I remember them talking about having to scan people when you're on the surface to find criminals, almost like, think about Guardians of the Galaxy where Rocket and Groot were scanning people and they find Peter Quill. You know how they were scanning people with the little thing? Kind of like that. And I think bounty hunters, like they've literally said, in areas you will eventually be able to pull out weapons, but it'll be a crime. Like if you're detected, it'll be a crime. But then on top of that, if you're a member of the Bounty Hunters Guild, wouldn't you have a certain special allowance? So when the cops turn up, you go, here's my bounty hunting logo, motherfucker. I'm all good. And I reckon that's possibly what's coming in with the bounty hunting thing when it comes, is the ability to go in and get those people. And those people are going to have to run. It's going to literally be Running Man. Are they going to run to the hangar and get out in the ship and leave? Are they going to wait to, like, and think about the gameplay that emerges. Like, they're waiting for you to come in so they can go out, you know, like, or are they going to go out a back door and someone's going to, you see where it's going really quickly because they're going to be trying to get rid of their crime stats so you can't get them. Like, it's an interesting gameplay loop straight away. So it's going to be really interesting.
We should, I'm looking forward to the Death of God marker too. Right now, just having that, like, even I'm the hunter, not the one who gets hunted. But I don't want a yellow pip on the guy I'm hunting, so I can see him through walls constantly. What I want is like a relay system, so that if like an AI sees them, ping, it shows for a split second that they were there. And then
but also
then we lose sight of them.
Can collect data. So say you know, Agrid's just walking through wherever, and he happens to do an FPS scan, and it just happens to catch that person. And it collects that data, and he's automatically got data sharing turned on. Ping, you know, like when you walk out surveillance, and it's like that. But then, by the same token, can if I'm the bad guy, can I put a hood on, and I'm just walking, and you can't, you know, can't detect face because too much of it's covered. Like, what is the game? Like, can I go through? They've talked about smuggling. Like, you can smuggle cargo through checkpoints. Can I also smuggle myself through the checkpoint so I'm not detected by the cameras or the, you know, the checkpoints at Hurston and Microtech and all that. You get where I'm going, right? So
the main entry checkpoints.
Yeah, and again, that probably won't all happen in the first variant, but you can totally see as that game plays out and where they're trying to go. They're trying to, you know, they've talked about the Hawk and being one of the, it has a glass window at the bottom, right? And one of the things they talked about was being able to look down and track who you're chasing. How slow you're going to be going to do that? Like, slow down, mofo, or I'm gonna kill you. Like what's he gonna do? He's just gonna like surrender straight away. But you get my point, right? Like, someone's gonna run. And what's that line in one of them? Everybody runs. What's that?
Everybody runs. He'll run. He won't run. Everybody runs. What is that?
Oh, I can't remember, but it was everybody runs.
I don't know.
Minority Report. Minority Report. I remember. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that bounty hunting's got room to grow, and we know it does. Bounty hunting tier 1 isn't even in the game yet, so there are problems at the moment with bounty hunting. Those problems will adjust. We'll see it evolve, just like engineering, just like literally everything else in the game. So right now, the problem is that we've been stuck on the same version for so long that it's starting to be like we're all starting to get a bit antsy. So just give it time, guys. It'll change. We'll get something cooler soon.
Again, with if what is coming to pass with Squadron coming out, they have to have Star Citizen in a pretty good space, right? And I'd say, looking at the year of stability, that patch at 4.5 is incredibly stable. It is so smooth, really good frame rate. Now we've got that foundation. You start putting gameplay on top of it. How much gameplay can they get in a year? How much? So we know bounty hunting sitting there. We know data running sitting there, and there was another one that I always forget, medical. I think part of it was medical drones, because even if they're A to B drones, like they did with the building, crafting's coming. It was literally on the thing we looked at before, and base building. You could literally have all those gameplays come in, and it's all of a sudden more gameplay than we've ever had in the game already. That's nuts.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's just 5 I've mentioned. What else can they rip out in 12 months?
And as you said, the closer we get to the release of Stars, to the release of Squadron 42, the more people start to free up as well. And that's the crazy thing, is we're not even at full hands on deck for Star Citizen. And I think there will be a downtime. They'll obviously move to Squadron 43 whenever they're ready to do that.
43 and 44, or do you reckon they're just going to call it?
No, I just call it that because it's everyone knows what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's behind enemy lines is what it's the technical title.
Okay.
So you know.
But yeah, when they move to behind enemy lines, before they do that, I think we'll get some time where they'll all be focusing on Squadron, getting it kicked into gear and ready. And I think that's coming soon, because if they, I've talked about this and we've discussed this a bit, so I may as well mention it on stream.
Thank you,
Star Citizen needs to be. Thank you, Meltmar. Let's go, Meltmar. He's one of mine. Appreciate you, Meltmar.
Well, he's one of ours now too. He's been here quite a bit.
Yeah. There's Star Citizen needs to be in the most pristine possible condition when Squadron 42 releases. It doesn't need to be feature complete, but it needs to be the most spectacular, smooth, bug-free version of the game, so that everyone goes out and plays Squadron 42, rubs shoulders with Mark Hamill and Henry Cavill, has a great time with Gary Oldman, and then goes, I want more.
Smoothly transitions in. That's it.
Exactly. So I think this year we're going to see polish. Let
me ask you a question then. I don't know exactly what you do for a job, but do you do any project work, like where you guys work on a project? Anything similar to that, right? So, because we can use this to relate to Star Citizen. When you work on a project, right, as it gets more complete, it gets more kind of polished, does it not? Like, so, and you kind of have it, like it comes together quicker. Almost like when you build a jigsaw puzzle, you slowly start on the outside, and then as you get less and less pieces, it seems to speed up. Would you agree with that statement? Right?
Absolutely.
Now you're going to understand what's going to happen with Star Citizen. It's going to speed up.
Right, yeah.
We've had all this time
building. Once the foundation,
exactly.
Once foundations and features there, and the engine's in the place that it needs to be, and we're already moving towards Vulkan now. We transitioned across APIs. That it is, the pace is I mean, the pace is already increasing. Look at the last 2 years. Look at the last 2 years.
Have you seen a house build? Like, it takes forever to get the foundation down, a fairly long time to get the wooden frames up. But after that, the bricks go on like that, the roof goes on like that, the plaster goes inside like that, and before you know it, you're painting and putting furniture in. It just goes so quick. It just snowballs. It's got this snowball effect when cause my dad was a plumber, and I worked on a lot of building sites, so I've seen it firsthand, right? And it's the same thing with any project I've ever worked on. It just snowballs, and everyone works in their own little sections, and these little sections just start flying in. And you got to think of Star Citizen, right? Essentially, look at the speed that the planets are getting built at now. That's a really good example. We've had Stanton, now
so briefly,
Pyro,
very brief.
Now Nix, and we're just about to get Castro in like 6 to 12 months. Go ahead.
Huge information out of CIG last night. I don't know if you saw, but River Guy, the Moist Master himself,
Moist Master,
he's just been promoted to lead Planet Tech. Yeah, Moist Master is number 1. He's back on top, baby. River Guy's going all the way to the top. Let's go. And he's obviously doing. We've seen the good work he can do.
Can be so wet. He's become Waterworld.
Yeah.
That's what we have to call him now. Waterworld. He's not Moist Master anymore. He's Waterworld. Yeah.
He speaks well. He obviously knows what he's doing. I mean, his presentation was the best part of all of Star Citizen. So River Guy is on his way.
What's
the
his
Moist
real
Master
name?
Climbing to the top.
What's his real name? Do you know his real name? I did remember.
They said it last night. It was Lee or Mark. I can't remember.
Whatever his name is, you make a moon, and it's a complete water-based moon, and they name it after him. Just call it. Just
Will Hain. That's it.
Will
Hain.
Yeah, just call it Hain then. Just call it Hain.
Yeah.
And it's just a complete water
Planet
moon.
Guy feels more appropriate now. Yeah, I think so too, Piss. Probably. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Planet Guy. No, Waterworld. Just call him Waterworld. It's a reference to the movie. It's sci-fi. Come on, this thing writes itself. And then we can give him all these jokes about Kevin Costner and the big whales.
Yeah.
That, you know, you can see all the jokes.
Dry land ain't a myth. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. No, but congratulations to Will.
Yeah.
Like such a good, obviously very good developer, and CIG have recognized it. So good stuff, man. Good stuff. So I just wanted to shout him out.
No, good on it. Right. Another question. That's an insult. Says, how good are ballistics this patch? I'll forward that to you, sir. You're the PvP man.
Yeah, look, they're not as good as people were hoping, but still way stronger. I feel like, and this is, here we go. I'm about to say something that I'm going against something I've said on this podcast a little while ago. I was worried that engineering would turn us into, for a while, a one type of weapon system. In the previous patch, the only things that were really viable in the PvP sphere were CF repeaters, and then if you had a fast ship that could manage its delta and its speed, you could make NBDs and breaknecks work. So Buccaneers, for example, could make breaknecks and NBDs work. Or if you could speed wall someone. I have seen in PvP broadswords work. In 4.5, broadswords work, tarantulas work, breaknecks work, axioms work, CFs work, omnis work, etc., etc., etc. I know that the meta is currently being worked out, but the fact that in the future, no matter what, we've seen that these all have their place or can be used is really, really, really exciting to me. What I would say is the only place where ballistics are really failing, and I mean just straight failing, is against larger targets, because all they do is hull kill targets. You can't, even with size 5s and above, you can't punch through and hit components. For some reason, CIG have decided that while they're on break, we're not going to be able to kill components with bigger ships. I don't know why. We had a Perseus being shot by 25 ships yesterday, and it didn't even take 1% damage to any of its components. And all of them were deadbolt size 5 ballistics on Vanguard, so just no damage at all to components. So ballistics are failing at killing components. That's the one thing that I would say on bigger ships. Other than that, they are wonderful. They are in a really, really good place, but so is everything. Go try omnis right now. Go out and try distortions right now. Try NBDs, try repeaters. Everything feels really, really new and fresh at the moment because of penetration values, because of heat distribution. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff. So don't get locked into ballistics. Try it all. Definitely try it all.
As a follow-up, can you, and I'm not saying you specifically, but do you think the PvP community can now look back at what kind of happened with all the weapons being flattened, the flight model and all that, and you can see why they never really worked on it because they knew this shit was coming?
Yeah, I think what they were doing is I think they wanted to test a couple of things. I think they really wanted to test omnis specifically, especially with like penetration values. So that's why they made them the best at the time. And I think there was a few other things that they wanted to try out. I think putting everything at the same speed meant that everyone tried everything. And I think that was the point. If they had everything at slower projectile speeds, no one would have bothered. They would have just stuck with omnis, which is kind of what they did anyway, because omnis was so strong. So I don't know. I think they got some information. If is probably the best way to answer your question, is that those flat weapon speeds were, and those flat damage numbers were to get the information they needed to maybe introduce what they have now. And I think we'll see change in the future too. But this isn't the final state. So
yeah. But specifically those people, because I just remember the uproar. Like, to me, it was really obvious. Even to Argot, it was really obvious, right? Because it was a cart full of horse possum. It's like, why go back and rebalance all this shit when you're gonna have to turn around and do it all again? Right, so, and we've seen that with things like multiple times where they find this little small bug and they're just like, oh, we'll just leave it because we know how to fix it. But it's just going to take a day for someone to fix, so we don't want it to fix again and again. We'll just leave it. And I've seen that with, like, you know, that quantum bug where you've kind of got to look away and then you got to look back. That's been in the game since freaking jumping was in the game. It's been there since day dot.
Memoriam.
Never been fixed. Why? Because they know they're going to rework the quantum or jumping.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just never been done. So it's the same thing with, like, why redo the whole flight model twice when we know once engineering is, we're going to have to do it again. And they're going to have that to look forward to now. And you and everyone else, because PvP is going to go to this different level, and you're already seeing the benefits. Like you said, all those weapons are now viable, and that was what I was waiting for. I knew it because I'd read all the docs, but to me, you have to know like so much shit from all these years, and it's not advertised. Like if I go to you, Bops, and say there is a thing that came out in a certain year about this subject, where the hell are you going to go to find it? You have no idea. So the only people that know this people are stuff that were there and they've remembered it, like Argrid and myself and you and Paul and a few others.
That's why. I mean, that's why I'm trying to get Yogi. That's why I'm trying to get Yogi to come and have a chat to me. I've talked to you about this, is because, and this is just because Yogi exists in the sphere of Star Citizen that I exist in, right? In this PvP flight model world. The reason I wanted to have a chat to him is because, like you said, there is stuff scattered from 2012 all the way through to 2025. And I don't think CIG, and there's no fault of their own, that's like 10 years of development, so I get it. But I don't think there's any like cohesive, this is where we're at and this is what it's like right now, and this is where we're going, right? And we're left to like pick up all of these different pieces of the puzzle, but then the puzzle pieces change shape and we try and cram them all together, and you can tell that the design implementation of this has totally changed, but then people point to it and say, but 6 years ago they said this, and then but this year it's totally changed, and we just need a way to cohesively pull it all together. So
well, I think Yogi, as you rightly said, Yogi has got one of the hardest jobs at CIG.
For sure he does. For sure he does.
And if Yogi wants to, I would host, because I think I'm a bit of a neutral party in this, but you correct me if you think I'm wrong. I think I'm pretty neutral. I would happily host like a little round table between, say, yourself and some other major PV players in the space.
Just to be clear, I'm not looking to be confrontational at him at all.
I think you just legitimately want to understand, and that's where I'm coming out from.
And not even that. It's not even understand. I just want to ask him a few questions for new players. I'm not in there to grill him or ask him information about this or that or this or that. Yeah. I just want to have a chat to him. So
trying to help him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. In a non-confrontational, positive way. And there's questions that I want to ask him that are really simple ones that just haven't been answered. That not like, oh, we need answers to these. Just like, oh, while I've got you,
and I've
always wanted to know the answer to this.
The reason I say host, because if someone goes too far, I'll put them in their place very quickly.
I don't think it'd happen though.
But yeah, I don't think it would. I don't think it would. But for Yogi's benefit, I would put people in their place. And I met Yogi very briefly at one of the bar citizens at CitizenCon. He was a really friendly guy. I was sitting at a table with like about 10 devs and just myself. It was pretty nuts. And he was a really friendly guy, quite a quiet guy actually. But yeah, again, I would happily, if he could pick who he wanted to sit down with, I would happily host that if he would like to do that, and we can put it wherever he wants to put it, or we could just not record anything. I'm cool with that as well. Just so he can get out there and talk to some people, because obviously there's a bit of hostility towards him at the moment, and I don't think it's well deserved.
And there shouldn't be. That's what I've said a million times. Is you've heard me in my stream again and again say he has the hardest job in the world, and he's got all these noisy people but yet he's got a vision that he needs to fulfill, and those noisy people are just getting in the way of what he's trying to do, and that's why I want to chat to him. And
it's the same thing when you assume something and you don't have any. It's like speculation or assuming. If you don't, you just miss one tiny little bit of information and your conclusion is completely off. We do not have all the information. He does. So you have to listen to what he says and take it as truth, because we don't have all the pieces. That's
we can't see the other side, which is awesome.
All right.
Yeah. All right. That's the next question. Let's keep going.
So the Ninja says, question, will young Arid Gracchus with his weight? No. Did that one already? Robert JT says, question, do you think that the Hermes is a Dado cargo, and if not cargo, what else? Too much space for just racks? That's a really good question. Because I often sit here and go, if you make it cargo, it just treads on the MSR way too much. It's in the same size class, it does the same thing, which is, so the only other thing I can think of is it can't do the vehicle like an MSR can.
What does RSI need right now? Let's think about RSI ships, because that's the question. RSI, they usually do like a vehicle attached. They always have like a living space. They usually, maybe it does something with a snub, I'm not sure.
Not
but
always.
It's about what RSI needs.
The Zeus doesn't really do the vehicle it should, right?
But it still has cargo space. You could put a small vehicle. All right, let's take the vehicle out of it.
You get
usually,
yeah.
Yeah. They usually has room for They usually have quite a lot of room for cargo space or whatever you want to put in there. They usually have a living and habitation. But we've got that size in the Zeus. We've got that size in the Connie. So now this is data running. If it's just data focused, it still has so much room for what cargo, dropship. Does it have? I don't know. I don't know.
How like so look at it this way. I think it has to be a 2-player vehicle like the Apollo, because literally if you essentially make it, let's say you made it 4 people, that means you could put in 2 more beds, because you're not going to put in 3 because you kind of want to make it symmetrical. So you put in 2 more beds and then it just becomes a Connie. It's just a Connie that basically does data running, right? And instead of having the Merlin, and that just, so now it's tried on 3 ships, because it's tried on the Mercury, the Connie, and the Apollo, which is just crazy to me. And that could be well be what it is, because the Corsair kind of does that in a way. The Corsair sits between the Paladin, the Redeemer, and the Connie.
Could it be up? Could they upgun its turrets or something?
Do they make them man turrets, not remote turrets? See what I mean? And that's all of a sudden why you could actually have a 3rd person, and then does the 4th person become the engineer? Or the data running type person that has to look at the data.
The other question, which we've talked about before, is: are we going? Is it going to be modular still? And if it is, can I slot the Apollo's modules into it? So I have a medical on one side, data runner on the other, or something like that.
Is it literally you've got to pick between living quarters or cargo? So yeah, it's a, like, again, there's always just enough rope to hang yourself, and this there's a reason why we were shown that room. Right? Because if he showed you the other room, it'd give everything away. Exactly what's going on. Right? That room, we had already worked out it was a data runner from the shit that's in the files, right? So, and they look at everything that and I'm just talking about Inforunners, I'm talking about everything that everyone talks about, right? And so they knew that we'd worked it out from that room, right? And it wouldn't have just been us, there would have been other people out there talking about it as well, right? And that's why they've used that room. Like, oh, we'll just confirm what they said, because we can't show them this one because they didn't figure out what was in here. So it tells me that the answers we are seeking are in that other room. I'm pretty sure the walls are going to go, though, to some description, like the glass walls.
I think the walls are going to go. And what I'd love to see, and I don't think they'll do this, but I'd love to see something similar to the Polaris, where you know how the Polaris's doors sort of slide down like, well, they don't. They slide down like ramps out of the side. I'd love to see ramps from the side of the Hermes. I would love to see that, but
that would be a lot easier.
I don't think we'll get it, but
that'd be a lot easier way to load the cargo in. But I think because of the back nature
modularity
of the back, I just can't unsee, like, and the size of it. Like, you look how deep that docking collar is. Why is it so deep?
I don't know, because they didn't know what to do with the space.
Because it's an elevator that holds 32 SU cargo containers. That's why. That's why. Like, again, there's so much wasted space in the normal Apollo. Like there's no reason for that docking collar to be that long. It's like 3 to 4 times longer than it should be. It's bizarre. And then all of a sudden it's just choked off multiple times. You saw it goes down, and then it goes down again to the hexagon, and then it goes down again to the circle. Like, it's bananas. So again, this is the other thing that leaves a bad taste in your mouth. There's been compromises made to the Apollo medical variant to make it into another variant again. That ship could have stayed at 40 meters. It really could have done. You think about that in hindsight.
Yeah, no, I just sort of trying to process it there. And I think that it's things like this that frustrate me, because they have to go back and correct. And when something comes out and it lands perfectly. What's an example? The Wolf. The Wolf is dropped and it's universally loved. Some people didn't like the fin, but they added a button to fix the fin. But the Wolf is a pretty universally loved ship. It stuck the landing. The Clipper stuck the landing. The Perseus stuck the landing.
Yeah.
But when you get a ship like the Apollo where it kind of wibbles in, well, then we have to think, now if the variant is better than the original Apollo, well, then the original Apollo gets sort of left in the corner and in the dark until they do a pass of it and go back and adjust it. So yeah, I really hope they don't spend too much time on it, because then they can spend more time on doing things like fixing the sound bugs or whatever that we're getting with the Perseuses at the moment. Have you experienced that yet, by the way, X?
What bugs?
in big ships, all big ships at the moment, every single one, because of the way the sounds queue at the moment, there are these crazy sound problems going on.
Yeah. I experienced it in the Perseus a lot in the PTU.
If you want to fix it, guys, just as a little shout out to anyone, if you want to fix it, the way we worked out how to fix it for now is you've just got to get everyone off the ship. So if you're out in space, just get everyone to go out of the airlocks and float about 50 meters away. Leave it for a second. The sound queue will clear, and then you can come back on, and you'll get the sound bug again in 15, 20 minutes. But yeah.
Well, it stops your game from crashing because it just essentially memory loops out and your game crashes.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got a first-time chatter called Gal.
Galteki, that's one of mine. Hi, Galteki.
It says Inforunners should not really have a ton of cargo, etc. Right? Specialist roles should not be multi-role, in my opinion. Well, that's the tricky thing, right? We have things that go both ways there. Look at the Mercury Star Runner. It has more cargo than the Connie and the Corsair, and it does data running, but it loses a lot of its guns. So it can go both ways. That's why I'm so scared, because it literally could be treading on 3 ships at the moment, which is the Andromeda.
Well, the MSR also has the little wibble bit on top. What's the little...
The scanner suite, but so does
the scanner suite.
So again, the turret.
So is that...
I'm in... Yeah, but there already is one on the Apollo. It's already there. It has that little dish thing because it was used to scan for the bodies. So all you do is just leave it there, and now instead of it as a body scanner, you just change the type to be data scanner. Okay. So it's not rocket science. It's just changing it, because the Terrapin has the same thing if you think about it. It's just the same thing. I'm being added there. What's that? You notice that the ships that hit were all ships that didn't have a concept. They just dropped. No expectation of the people who had ordered years in advance. Yeah, and so I just, on that, right? Like, I think that's 2 parts. Is one, yeah, there are expectations, but I didn't have any expectations for the Apollo. I've never owned one, and I've never looked at med running, so I went into that pretty just like, oh, I'm keen to see what the Apollo is, right? I wasn't someone who was like, oh, it's got to be the best med ship ever. But you're right, though. Those ones that just come out without concept, the expectations out there for the community at large, but also I think there's a bit of passion there. That you can tell when Ben and John were talking about the Kruger ships. They are excited to make Kruger. They're having fun making Kruger. Exactly. They're not just pushing out the next RSI ship, the next Drake ship. And when you see that passion, when someone gets to make it their baby, you get something awesome. The Fury is an example of one person making their baby. The Cutter is an example of one person making their baby as well, right? So you even they end up looking spectacular. The Golems as well, like those 2 people that worked on the Golem, they turned out really, really nice. I'm gonna be honest, when we do see newer ships, they're refreshing, because we've just been getting all these variants, and I, as I said, I'll at least say this: this year the variants were good, right? They were good, they were functional. The previous years, like the year before it, the variants were garbage. They were really bad. They sucked. And there was a few that, maybe the Firebird was kind of okay. But when you look at the normal Saber and the normal Raven, you kind of go, well, it wasn't that special after all. It was really just a bomber variant of them, right? The Peregrine, what the hell? You're on drugs making that thing, right? It just didn't make any sense. It was a really expensive racer, and people, there were better races for cheaper. It was just really weird. So just a ship I've never seen that in game. You ever seen anyone in Peregrine?
I do a bit of racing.
Yeah, you've probably seen but realistically, what's the percentage? 0.005%?
If I had to keep, I don't see anyone in them. But if I had to keep the Peregrine or the what's the missile boat called?
Firebird.
The Firebird, I would take that Firebird and dump that fucking thing in the trash as hard as I possibly could. It's got useless firepower. Missiles don't do anything. Idiots fly it around and shoot missiles at people for no god. Throw it in the fucking bin. Get rid of that stupid.
But that's the other thing. They buffed the shit out of it just after it was being sold, or like a week after it came out, to sell more of it. And now it's going down again. Oh, I wonder why. It's just. Again, we can see what you're doing. We're not invalids, and you got to remember the whole community talks. So we all know now that they buff the shit out of things to sell it. But here's the thing: we're also wise enough that we'll just buy it for credit, and then when you nerf it, we'll just melt it.
You know what? I'm going to defend CIG, and I don't often do this. I'm going to hard defend CIG. Every ship they've released in the last 4 months has come out incredibly underpowered. They've been doing the opposite. The Meteor was pretty much dog shit and still is. They're working on making it better, but it sucks. The Perseus could be way stronger. It isn't. It's sort of, I think it's actually just landed perfectly, the Perseus. I don't think it needs to go up or down. I love where it landed. There's another one I was going to say too. Oh, the Wolf didn't come out broken because ballistics weren't in a place where they were broken. The second version of the Wolf, the Axiom Wolf, those Star Wars repeaters, they're not super strong. They're kind of just, they're good at punching up, but not really at punching across. So I think historically, you're right, because I don't want to completely. I'm not discrediting you. Like historically, ships came out real strong, and then they nerfed them into the ground. Think Ares, for example, F8, for example, et cetera, et cetera. But I haven't seen as much of that in the last few months. In fact, I've seen the opposite. They're sort of bringing them out a bit weaker and then notching them up a little bit, which is, I don't know if that's preferable to some people. I don't know. I don't really. They're going to buff and nerf them no matter. They're all going to change over the next 2 years, 3 years anyway, so yeah.
There's a whole it's just gonna be a really interesting year next year, because like obviously with all those gameplays coming in, we're gonna see other ships being turned on that have been sitting there, like the Marky Mark, the Build, and a few others. But then also we're gonna see new ones coming, like, and I think the Hermes is probably the first cab off the rank. So like
for sure.
Like when I talk about the Clipper, I think there's 100% probably a bounty hunting variant of the Clipper, because Slave 1 or Slave 2, whatever the hell it's called, right? It's just a no-brainer to me. You know.
And then we've got variants. They're not called variants, but they are. Mark IIs are just variants.
That's another one.
So we've got the Mark II Aurora coming very, very soon, hopefully. And then Disco almost leaked. Do you remember? On that podcast, Disco went, so we've already let them know that this ship is coming out, and then we've already leaked that the Aurora Mark II is coming out, and they know that the Mark II, and then he went, oh, and then Ben and John gave him a look, and they went, oh, it's not so hard to not leak stuff, is it? I think he was about to say Mark II Connie. That's what I think he was about to say. That's what I 100% think. It's connected to the Aurora. It follows the train of thought. So
it's going to piss everyone off. You know,
yeah,
like
it will,
all the
but
others have pissed everyone off.
Coming.
Yeah, but I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. The thing that just leaves a really bad. So just to clarify what Mark IIs are, right? And he did actually clarify the difference between something that would get a Mark II and something that was a variant, right? And what it was essentially an external visual upgrade, right? So when the outside of it doesn't work, and they've got to give it like a full rework, but the old one's still functional. Right, and that's why the old Hornets all work. You have a Mark 1, right? They still work fine, but they wanted to have a newer, updated look, and I think it's got ties to Squadron personally. And I think the Aurora would 100%. It's one of the oldest ships in the entire game. I think that would 100% turn up in Squadron. Again, we know it kind of does with the grey market.
We know the ballista. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know the Connie does, because the Connie was the test bed for Navmesh. So how do you do? You don't really do the inside again. You just do the outside, and therefore you get a Mark II Connie. I think you're absolutely right. By the way, if you look at the oldest ships, they're the biggest contenders for Mark IIs.
Correct.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
But if
it saves them, because this is the thing, and as much as it upsets you guys, and I totally get being upset with it, because we fall in love with these old ships. My favorite ship in the game is a Mark I Hornet, right? That's the ship I fly every single day, all day on my stream. I get what it's like to love the old ships. But at the end of the day, the manpower they have to put in to rework the internals of a ship is almost the same as having to rebuild a new ship. Yes, there's a little bit more 3D modeling to building a Mark II, but reworking all the internals, redoing all of the lighting, redoing all of the sound, animating new elevators and stuff when you're putting them into different positions, it's the same amount of effort. So why not, for a business that we want to support to make a good game, why not just release a new ship they can charge full price for and say the old one?
Same thing with the 600 rework.
New
ship over rework an old one. Volta and Sun Gaming, or Father and Son Gaming, did make a point. If you go back to the original 5 ships, there is another one that I think would be a contender for Mark II, and that would be the Freelancer. The Freelancer and the Connie, sure. I think you could both say they are. I don't think we can say definitively which one it is, right? But I think I would say they're both serious contenders. And I'd probably argue that the Freelancer is in a worse place than the Connie. If I
100%. we've been testing the freelancer on my stream. If you guys want to see some cool stuff, go back to about a week ago.
Have you seen any weapon
it got-
changes for either of them or anything
It
like
got
that?
some huge buffs to its HP pool. Some massive buffs to its HP pool. So we decided to take the freelancer out into some extremely competitive PvP. And I think, what was it? Anyone from my stream? How many kills did we take? 15? 14? One stage we fought 3 or 4 people at once in it. So the freelancer is not a PvP ship. Don't think you can go get in your freelancer and start clapping cheeks. But if you know what you're doing and you know how to fly it, you can really make it work with this new HP pool with the right gear. So there have been changes to it, which usually, as you know, I believe X, if there have been changes to numbers, they're working on something around it.
I just want to ask a follow-up question to the freelancer. Would you say, based on the HP increase, that puts the HP higher than the other kind of medium ships, like the Cutlass, the Zeus?
What's strange is they seem to be pushing it towards heavy fighter. Every change they make with it, it seems to be moving further away from gunship, further away from your Corsair and your Connie,
more like a
and
Star
closer
Runner.
to Zeus.
Closer to Zeus or closer to Spirit? Because Spirit's the runner.
Yeah. Well, Spirit and
So
Zeus,
like
that sort of size.
So somewhere between the Spirit and the Zeus, but in the middle. So it's like faster, but not as say tanky as the Zeus.
It's got awesome pitch. It's probably, I don't know if it's tankier than the Zeus. I'd have to have a look at the numbers, but it's definitely not moving slow like a big fat whale now.
There's a reason.
It's got like 40 bitch.
There's a reason we asked this, right? Because we couldn't figure out where the freelancer sat because we knew it had to have changes, right? About a couple of years ago, we did this medium. I stuffed up some stuff during a sale because I was really tired. So we went absolutely balls to the wall deep dive and did this massive deep dive on all the mediums. And what we found was where you could see where it was going. The Zeus looked like a tank, and the Spirit was obviously the glass cannon runner, and the Cutlass was the DPS one, right? It was kind of like halfway between the two. But we couldn't. There was 2 spaces left. The freelance either is right bang in the middle, or it's a bit of everything, or it's like a shield tank, as opposed to the Zeus looks like an armored tank, right?
I just realized I haven't flown it. I haven't flown it on 4.5, and there's those massive shield changes with 4.5. How only 2 shields are active at once.
I'm gonna
have to go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go test it out. But just to answer your question, because I'm the PvP guy and I should check this for you. I'm just gonna check the freelancer's HP against what did you say?
Zeus would be the one. I'd check the Zeus.
Okay, against the Zeus. So the freelancers.
I'd also check the armor values if they're there, and the shields.
Okay, duplicate.
Because what we were expecting was either the freelancer is right in the middle, which I don't think it is anymore. I think it's going to be a shield tank, and the Zeus will be an armor tank. That's where my brain's been going for a while. But you just kind of confirmed it with what you said before.
I'll go with the Zeus MR. We don't actually have the stats for it. Zeus, yes, because we don't have the stats for Zeus MR. Okay, so the Zeus.
Go with the CL because the Zeus ES has 2 shields.
Okay. So some of this gets a little bit convoluted, guys. When it comes to PvP, there are HP numbers, but then there are vital points. And I know you guys know this, but what's important is to understand that in the PvP world, we don't just shoot aimlessly at a ship or follow a pip shooting. We target vital points specifically. Right? So we don't use full HP pools because they're not relevant if you actually know how to fire your ship and maneuver your ship. So in saying that, the main hull of the Zeus CL is 15k. That's without shields, 15k without shields.
Yeah.
Its total HP is 32,000, but 1,500. The freelancer MISC, which is the one that I was flying, has its hull separated and it's the gunship version, has its hull separated into 3 vital parts, so nose, body, tail, all with 6k. So if you're not getting accurate against a freelancer, it could potentially have almost 19,000 HP, which is significantly more. It's got more shields, obviously. Its armor's 3,900, but the Zeus's armor is 9k. So the Zeus is
there's people trying to grammar nuts me in chat. There is 1 more shield generator on the ES over the CL. I might have said the number wrong, but what I meant is it's just more on the ES. There's 4 on the ES and there's 3 on the CL. Point being is you'd have flated numbers of shields on the ES. So yeah. Yeah. So again,
Anyway, interesting.
you can kind of
interesting
see how
stuff.
they're starting to fall into those almost like class-like mechanics. Yeah. Rock paper scissors.
I just
and all that
want
stuff.
these. I keep saying it, and to anyone who's on the, if anyone in the ship team goes back and watches this, please just give us hull bonuses. We need hull bonuses. I need a reason to pick up a Gladius Valiant. There's no reason for me to get a Gladius Valiant.
It was just
like, there's no
it's
reason.
a holdover from another time, man. It was just how they were selling skins at the time. It's
know,
essentially the first version of bundling, if you think about it. Get this skin,
but
get
hull
some
variants
weapons.
are as simple as this: 10% extra damage with energy weapons on the Gladius Valiant, right? That way I can still run ballistics on the Valiant if I want to, but if I do run energy weapons on the Valiant, I get a little bit of a buff. If I'm using the Freelancer that fires missiles comparative to the Freelancer that's freight, maybe the missile version gets 5% faster lock or 10% extra lock.
Do you know how I would do it? I would make it so those variants have a bespoke component, and then you can overtune it to be better than like any other size 2 component or whatever size
that's
it is.
Essentially the same thing. Essentially the same thing.
But that's how I would do it, because then they can tweak the numbers in the background, and there's nothing we can do to affect it. That's how I would do it. So say it's got 3 power plants. One of them is the Whizbanger, and the Whizbanger is uptuned to do an extra 5% damage or something. So it just, absolutely agree with that.
Agreed.
Or maybe, and you could even go as niche as that component gives extra damage, but only distortion. Or something like that, you know? You could literally do that if you wanted to. So it forces them to use distortions on that ship, just so they can get the extra damage. Right. Next question. I think we've got a few more. No, that one's on that, so I don't have any more in there. So we're getting down to the wire here, guys. So we have we've only got 5 questions in the Q&A. This is going to be a very quick Q&A session. We've got 40 minutes left, so get your questions if you want any more answered. We're down to the last 5. All right. And I can actually do this. This won't affect you. If I click this and go select question on YouTube right now, it has now appeared below us on YouTube. So Twitch, you won't get this, but on YouTube, they can see the question now. So it says, Dilman94 says, do you think that Hermes will have modules thoughts on SCU count? Oh, we did work it out, and I can't remember what it is now. We did put it in the episode.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it would make sense for it to be modular. Why not? Why put all the work in to make the original modular and then not take advantage of that system, right?
Yep, that's it in a nutshell. I want to play. Oh, it's not coming up. I want to come see if the questions
it's on the chat. If you looked in the chat, it was like up the top of the chat on.
Where? Yeah. That's in OBS though, but it's meant to appear.
No. In YouTube, look at the top. See the white at the top right.
Yeah. Right. Hang on. See if we can take it over and show us. Like we're getting a screenception here for a second, but yeah, look, it appears there over above Bops's head, so you can see the question. Anyway, but it used to bring it up on the screen when I click it. All right, let's see if it do it. All right, I'm gonna go to the next question and see if it does it. Right, select question. It used to pop up like on the bottom of the screen. I'm gonna do it now. It's gonna make a liar out of me. Anyway, this question is from Radium T-Rex. It says, in your opinion, if data running is just moving missions spawn data drives as cargo versus player generated intel data, will CIG have effectively hurt or even killed the data running game loop? If data running is moving missions,
I don't think that's.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think that's what I think that's going to be one facet of it, Radium. So I think that there will be just moving drives around, but I think they'll also be uploading information to your vehicle or whatever it might be as well to then carry and then send that data on without actually removing the drives. And I think there'll also be different tech where they always have like high tech, medium tech, low tech. So low tech might be physically pulling drives out and slotting drives in. High tech might be beaming information. And then also I think that there'll be element of
how much information is there, right? So do you need an entire drive, or do you essentially need like a data stick that we've seen, right? And we've even seen multiple data sticks. We've seen little tiny ones. We've seen the ones that are like this wide, and then if you look at it on the MSR, it literally looks like a massive hard drive enclosure that can be pulled out.
They gave us those black box hard drives as a subscriber gift.
Exactly.
But then there'll also be a bit of hostility to Radium involved. I think there'll be like areas where you're like jumping in your ship. Say you've got to go from Hurston to microtech, there might be like a pre-generated interception by AI where they rip you out of hyperspace. And then it could go even further. You could have in the unverified tab, not the standard tab, you could have shipping data, and when you take that data, it might be worth 200K to get it from one location to another, but the minute you grab it, it pings everyone else and says, hey, there's a mission, someone's running super valuable data if you want to intercept them.
To go another step again, we were talking about the different sizes of the essential data containers. We know signals are a thing too. So does the bigger your data box that you're carrying, the bigger signal? Is it easier to find? Is it more risky? I'm transferring more data. I'm going to get paid shitloads more, but I'm going to light up like a Christmas tree while doing it. Yeah. But you know, and is it just like, not just get to a planet, but I have to get to a planet and then take it across the surface in a vehicle because I can't go through this particular area because the lightning will kill the data or something like there's so many things you can add to that on top of it. Where are you taking it to? Where are you picking it up from? Are you going through a criminal area? Are you going through high security, low security? Are you smuggling it? Like, you can see, like, it's just insane.
And me and Algorand had an awesome chat one night on my stream. This is when I was pushing for partner. He came and sat for 3 hours and had a big chat like a sweetheart.
I turned up at the start and then left so you guys could have your alone time.
Yeah, you don't need to hear Algorand speak. You've been listening to him speak for years. But we we had a big chat about
you said it, not me. Someone clip that. That was
we had a big chat about what I referred to as adjacency, and what I was talking about is specifically gameplay loops. So something like mining is as far away from combat as it can possibly be. You're looking at a rock, your enemy is a rock, you shoot that rock for hours and it never shoots back, right? But then as you move through the different gameplay loops, the adjacency starts to bleed across. And so an example of this would be something like salvage. Salvage is created specifically by combat and can be created by involving yourself in combat, but usually it's picking the scraps of it. And there's a danger to salvage. If I'm here salvaging a ship that's wrecked, what wrecked it? Was it a PvP zone that I'm in, or was it given to me by the AI, right? So it gets a little bit closer to combat. And I think the data running goes that little bit closer again. It's that adjacency to combat because you're now probably going to be on timed events to get from one location to another so that the data stays alive. You're going to be entering in and out of hostile zones. So I think that adjacency between combat is so there's that line that draws its way across, and I think it's the closest supply line gameplay to combat. I think it sort of goes combat, data running, salvage, and then your box hauling and whatnot further along the way.
Can I turn up as a PV player? Well, say I'm running it and you turn up. Can you use distortions to fuck with my data?
Shut you down.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Like there's so many questions out there now. Like, and me and Aaron have talked about data running a lot. It's a real sleeper. It really, really is a sleeper. And again, I would be expecting kind of what happened with medical, where they put in the Apollo and it does the bare bones, but over time they come back and it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and you'd see this kind of forking of it's a lot like cargo at the start, but it becomes more and more its own thing, and you start to see that there is an interlap between exploring and data running, scientific stuff and data running. You start to see that
you were talking about this yourself, exploration. You're finding wormholes and stuff, and then you're taking that information for the wormholes back. You were talking about this.
So there's a lot of different gameplays that cross in, and like when we've talked about it, we've often tried to, and if we're just sitting around on our own, we'll try to speculate on something. We'll just pick two random gameplays and try and see how we could connect them. And you'll be actually surprised how often you can do that. It doesn't always work, right? But you can clearly, like, so salvage and mining, well, they're both collection, but they both feed through refining, right? But eventually a mining ship may break down and then it gets salvaged. But is a salvager ever going to need a miner? Well, I've just found this. I've been scanning and I just found this mining node. Do I sell that to my data friend, or do I skip the data friend and give it to my mining friend?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
the hull that I'm scraping is an Orion, and I can't use these big Saxa
Exactly.
ore that are on the Orion, so
Yeah.
maybe I sell them to my mining friends.
Yeah.
So and joining all of those games, and we can see that they're thinking about this because of the
Yeah.
presentation. It's not this year's CitizenCon, that was just an Inside Star Citizen Extended, but last year's CitizenCon, when they really went into like the web of interconnectivity between everything, they really are thinking about how these gameplay loops connect, and crafting is going to be part of the glue of that, I think. It's just, we're in a really exciting time right now, Execute. We're in a really exciting time right now. Yeah. So
Mostly Beef on Twitch says, when does Wicklow get the sword?
when do I get my damn Wicklow sword?
No. He said, when does Wicklow get the sword?
When
I've modified the question. I don't know. Was there a sword? I don't remember them talking about a sword. Do you?
No.
I think he wants. I think he's
No.
having Merlin fantasies. He wants to be Excalibur and pull it out of the Wicklow.
Well, mostly Beef is the lady of the lake of my chat, so if I had to describe him, yeah, so he's out.
I joked with them the other day that I'm mostly a vegetable. So.
Oh, there's a katana. Is there a katana on display at Wicklow?
Oh,
Cool.
True. But they have confirmed swords are a thing. They have confirmed them in the past, so yeah, they are definitely going to be a thing. We actually, me and Essay, when we did an episode on Titan suits, we talked about one that would be really cool where it doesn't get a cloak, but it gets like a camera. When you look at people, it puts like, you know, the Tavaran shield tech where it looks at things and it puts the shield. So it's a modified version of that shield where it's a display, and so it displays what's behind you on that. But because you've got so much energy going into that kind of cloak screen, you don't have any shields. But you walk around really stealthily, and you can't have any weapons because it's taken all the power, and you're in a light mech frame to pull it all off. But then you got a sword. So you basically just come up and you're like a mech with a giant sword. You just stealth right up to him and then just... I reckon that'd be the coolest gameplay ever. Just, you know, and not only that, you've got to know exactly where to attack the other mech. You've got to know the weak points. And so you just get the sword, you charge it up, and just bang, you cut the gas line. You bang, you cut the thing. You cut, you know, just a couple of quick stabs, and the other mech is gutted. Yeah.
It's crazy to me how you can have things like concepts as advanced as that, even just like the Terravan Shield Tech ships as well, right? You can have stuff like that is so exciting, and then you can also have something as simple as the boom tube, which like if I had to choose between not getting ships for the next 5 years and keeping the boom tube, I'd keep the boom tube. I love that thing so much, and it's so crazy how even the simplest thing can be so exciting for the game. There's a clip on my stream of literally having a Black Hawk Down style situation in Pyro, firing rockets up at ships that are coming in and blowing pieces off of them as they're like crashing and stuff. And it's so exciting. And then you think about how much more exciting that's going to get once we have Titan suits running around the ground, land vehicles that can be used a little bit more readily, or more ground support vehicles, boarding other ships and these sort of things. Like when it all starts to come together, it's going to be so tasty. So
one of the scenes I always think of when I think of this game is, you know, in one of the last Star Wars movies, I think it was the last one they did on the Kelvin timeline, where they essentially get cut up by those aliens that are hundreds of little ships, and the saucer section comes in, and they're all ejecting out of the bridge, and you see that camera where it's over Kirk's shoulder, and he essentially launches out of it, and you see him kind of pull back, and then the ship just kind of goes down and crashes onto the planet, and it's all in one shot. And I remember talking about that, and then literally a little bit later, not that much longer, they did that Caterpillar commercial with it was, you know, he had the crate on the stage, and then they showed the crate inside the Caterpillar, and it was the cinematic of the Caterpillar, like it being sucked out of the Caterpillar, going through the atmosphere, partially catching on fire, and then landing on a planet. If they don't have a scene like what was in that Star Trek in Squadron, I will be mega surprised, because it's the gameplay. Have you ever think about the gameplay, right? You take the gameplay of Puberta Planet and you use that tech. Why would you not use that tech in a single player game? I have never played a single player game where you can be in a ship and travel all the way to space, no loading screen, Imagine being on the ship and the ship's burning up, and you've got to jump between sections of the ship as they're literally collapsing and burning on fire. We know it's in Star Citizen. It's got to be in Squadron. And you're like sealing the doors behind you, trying to get into, and right at the last minute, you get into the escape pod, eject out, and the ship just hits the ground and just explodes. And
shrapnel debris.
you can imagine
Maelstrom.
the tension writes itself. Like, it's amazing. It'll be, and you know, they just leave you for dead, and they think you're dead. And then the next level is you surviving on a planet, getting back to somewhere, and then getting back, and then you come back and get the bastards that got you.
Well,
like, I could see
they've
it
done
all.
that a million. They've done that a million times in video games, except it's been scripted.
Yeah. Or it's
Right?
done in
So,
multiple levels, and it's
But that's what I'm saying. Or like, you know, it's Dead Space where you're flying as Isaac through a crashing hull, or it's the Normandy in Mass Effect 2 where the Normandy's burning up around you. But that's a scripted in a very small space. It's just VFX that make you feel like you're moving and stuff. Let's take it, put it in a ship that's actually falling, that's actually going to hit get that visceral, vivid experience.
You can
of being in
replay
a
it,
crashing.
and it's never the same because of choices that you make. Did you take a Caterpillar or did you take a Hercules C2? Did you happen to leave a particular door open on the side of the ship, or did you see where I'm going at, right? Like, it can all be visceral. Oh shit, I pissed off Frank and Frank didn't come on the ship today, so I'm gonna die in a fiery fireball. You know, like, and he was the
Where are my
engineer.
German engineers?
Yeah, exactly.
Where are my German engineers?
So
That's
you
the
can
question.
you can see how dynamic they can make it, and I really hope they've leaned into that. And if it's anything like Wing Commander, exactly what they did. I think we are in for a massive treat. I really, really do. I think it is going to be a sleeper. I think it's going to be one of those things that once it gets out there, we're going to play it, think it's amazing. I'm talking about all of us as a community, and then basically you're going to go, hey mate, I told you it was good. Play this, and you're going to get that guy that's thought it was a scam on it, and you'll buy it for him and say, if you like it, buy it for someone else. And this,
we're already seeing that. We're already seeing that mindset change. I've been watching. So obviously, if you're a video gamer, you stay up to date with games journalism and gaming news or whatever. But even now, and I know we've got sidetracked from the question, so sorry, Radium. But even now, there's this change that's going on in the games journalist space. So there's a channel I've watched for years. I won't bother shouting about, but there's a channel I've watched for years, and they were talking about. They've always talked about Star Citizen, and I've watched them go from back in 2016, literally laughing and going, "Oh, what a scam!" Laughing at someone called Gus who's put $2,000 into it, going, "What a scam!" Yada yada yada. To now in 2026, being like, "Well, we've played it, and yeah, it's got its problems, and it may not be for us, but there's a game there, and we can actually see the game." And they just did a recent episode on the $1 billion mark, and they poked some fun at it a little bit, being like, "Oh, $1 billion, and it's still not out," but there was that sympathy or empathy for it now, where they were like, hang on, there's actually a really good game there, and if they can stick the landing, then hang on, we might have something special. So
and it's
I think
also
that mindset's changing.
Yeah, because I think they're also realizing that it was Squadron that was worked on all the time, not Star Citizen. That's the other thing. So all you see is Star Citizen as this forward-facing thing that's just looked in this really bad place for all this time. But if you look at the behind the scenes and look what's happened with Squadron, it's going to be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to it coming out. You know, like you said, though, I've seen a few content creators like yourself, well, not like yourself, but I've seen, like you've seen others, that have changed their tune. I've seen so many people come out and say, you know, it's a scam, and then someone, you know, a big content creator goes and watch a video and they're defending it. They're going, but this is not what you said it was. Like, look at this. This is amazing. Look at the tech in this. Like people that know games can look at it even as a tech demo, and essentially go, I can see the potential of this. It's just doing shit that no other game's done.
It's so hard. I've tried this because I've got lots and lots of video gamer mates. It's so hard to explain the scale of Star Citizen.
That is the one thing I try to sell people on, is I take them in and just show how big the thing is. But you feel, I feel like even if I have them for an hour, I can't show them. Exactly.
Like I was lucky enough to have. There's a great content creator. Shout him out. His name's Feldman from across the hall. Great guy. If you like retro gaming, go check him out. But I came along to my channel the other day, and I've been trying to get him to come play some Star Citizen for ages because I know him sort of outside of the Twitch sphere from another area. And he came along, and in one day, we flew him from Stanton through a wormhole into Pyro, what we call Jurassic shithole. And then we flew from Pyro to Checkmate, got him to land, walk around Checkmate Station. We then took him to Bloom to show him how beautiful Bloom can be. We went from Bloom to some PvP combat. We then flew down to Pyro 1 and fought the worm in a radiation storm. All of this moving across multiple ships, large ships, small ships, taking a huge fight. And at the end of it all, like you could tell he'd heard about the scam game, right? But then I was actually making the joke while we were fighting the giant Shai Hulud in the radiation storm down on Pyro 1. I was saying to him, what a shit scam of a game with nothing to do in it, huh? And we're being spat at by a giant worm in a train. I'm like, what a shitty game this is. And he's like, I need to reload. Who's healing me? Like, everyone freaking out or whatever. I'm like, what a scam. What a garbage game. And you could see he's like, that now after experiencing it, he was like, there's a real video game here. Like, this is it. This is the promise. And it's starting to take shape.
How many games do you see from literally 8 people in a garage forming and building a studio? It took them 2 years to go from the Kickstarter campaign to finding a studio, right? And then they had to start hiring people, and now it's moved around the globe. They've closed LA. They've, like, it's just like people have no idea. Like they said it themselves multiple times. People don't know game development, and they don't. They don't. And I'm someone that was one, and I don't know all of it because it's changed, right? And you talk to someone like Agrid or yourself or anyone that's followed it so closely, and they'll tell you that they've gone from absolutely knowing jack shit to looking at, you can look at other games now and appreciate them. And the thing is, Star Citizen will ruin other games for you because you look at them and go, "This is crap. This just is so shit." Like, why are you doing this? Like it's amateur hour.
I remember going to Pyro, now when Pyro dropped, and then walking around New Lawville. I spawned at New Lawville, Pyro dropped, and I flew to Pyro. And then I got to Pyro, landed at Checkmate. Yeah, the frame rate was pretty shitty at the time. But I landed at Pyro when I got off. And then I went, and I was like, cool, I'll come back to Star Citizen a bit later. I think I got a bug, so I was like, I'll come back to a bit later. And I booted up Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe how shit Cyberpunk looked. I couldn't believe just how, once I was down on the ground in walking through the city of Cyberpunk, it looked amazing. But the opening scene of flying that little car through the city, the buildings looked like these blocky textures and like nothing was really coming together. Once I was on the ground walking through the streets, well, then the city came alive. But I couldn't believe just...
There's no game that's a sum of its parts like Star Citizen. There's every other game that, another one I'll relate to is No Man's Sky. They were essentially promising what Star Citizen was, and they're trying to do it with 8 people. Now, I know their development studios increased, but I knew when that thing came out, it was going to not be anything like what was promised. I skipped it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I waited till it was on sales many years later and got it for $15, and I still never played it, but I still picked it up. But my point being is, I knew from Star Citizen, No Man's Sky could not hit the mark. It just wasn't possible.
Yeah. No Man's Sky was a lot of promises. I was talking about this on my stream last night, and I said something that's a bit inflammatory, and I don't want to say it here on your stream because I don't want to turn Inforunners, your chat into an argument. But I think that visions change. You probably remember what I was talking about last night in relation to. Yeah. I think visions change, and they have to because of the scope of a game. And I think No Man's Sky made a lot of promises, and the vision entirely changed. But if you go play No Man's Sky now, it may not have some of the original things that it promised, but it has new things. And it's moved in a new direction. And No Man's Sky is a freaking good game. It's not Star Citizen. Star Citizen's like a space sim. That's like a fun little artsy, crafty builder explorer, right? But what it became is an amazing video game. It had to make some adjustments and take certain things out of the game so that it could become what it is now. But what it is now is better than anything that was ever promised. And Star Citizen will have to make some of those same changes at some point, whether or not it's the thing I was talking about or other stuff along the way. Because again, I don't want to get bogged down in an argument. There will be things that have to change, but I believe that the vision will push in a direction that makes a really, really fun video game because they know what they're doing.
I think the vision will be better than they ever promised.
Yeah, I think so.
That seems to be the direction that they've moved in with everything. You think about a ship, right? Like, so to you and me, right? We talked about the Apollo earlier, right? They made the Apollo an extra 20 meters long. Now, most people would say that as a positive. I'm getting more ship for money, but by the same token, I can see it as a negative because now the ship is bigger than it was.
Yeah.
See?
For sure.
So, yeah. So I did want to talk about this real quick. You are doing a giveaway on your channel, yes? Do you want
2 giveaways. Yeah.
So tell me about this.
So we got 2 giveaways going on. One is for a reclaimer with lifetime insurance. You get that just by coming and joining my chat and earning tickets. But the other giveaway we're doing, as you know, CIG gives us some bits and bobs to give away. I'm doing a Luminalia giveaway that we're doing like 80s. It's a creative giveaway where you can't use AI, but you can submit all sorts of different stuff to it. And there's a theme or whatever, and you could end up winning yourself a ship. It actually closes tonight, so if you want to get involved sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so
but
if you're a speedrunning artist, get to it. Chop.
Well, it's not. No, you can submit poetry, you can submit music, anything you want, as long as it's not AI.
If you're a speed writing poetry writer, you got like 12 hours. Chop. Yeah.
I have grown a love affair. So I bought the Prowler utility when it first came out. I found quite a lot of use for it, but couldn't really see it. Then I moved to Pyro, and all of a sudden it became the best ship in the entire game for me. So I've been using it heaps. We've been doing things like loading bombs onto the rack and throwing bombs off of it and all this sort of stuff. But obviously my stream took notice. So this is a submission from someone called Tonki. And if you look into the detail of this poster, there's so much to it. It says NonStopBops is the Prowler of Pyro. And in the detail, there's all different people from our community. If you click down the bottom, can you zoom in to like the bottom half of it by any chance?
Yep, can do. Sorry.
Yeah, you can see down there, filmed by all different people, starring Spooner, Citizen Spooner, and Thumb, and Sarah, and all different people. Behind...
Here we go. I'll disappear. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Behind X, it says PG-13 parents strongly advise some material may cause increased salt for babies in Pyro. So there's heaps of like detail in this. It's been just absolutely awesome by Tonki. But there's lots of really cool stuff over in the Discord. So if you've got a creative bone in your body, I try and encourage this stuff within my community. So go join the Discord, go have some fun.
You get bonus points
awesome.
in the next 12 hours if you make a Ned Kelly one. Let's just put it that way. I want a movie poster of Ned Kelly. Bonus points.
You've got literally 12 hours, so if you can make a sweet Ned Kelly meme, go join the Discord. You might just win yourself a game package with LTI. So yeah.
Alrighty then. I think we're down to the last couple of questions here. In your opinion, was that one? So we've got another one here, which is Parker says, is releasing a ship based on tier 0 gameplay sure to change really much better than releasing a ship without their gameplay loop? It'd be awesome to see a full gameplay loop, absolutely. But again, doing it incrementally is a very wise move because then you can correct the errors as you go, right? If you just bring something out and the whole thing just falls down, right? You want to make sure, almost like a layered wedding cake. You want to put the next layer on, the next layer on, the next layer on, and just keep refining because it's a safer way to do so. Think about it this way. Every time they take a really large code base and generally chuck it into the game, how many times have we seen multiple steps backwards in quality before it came up again, right? And again, they've had a whole year to cook on the build that just dropped. That's why it's so damn stable, because it took them a year to get it stable.
I agree with you. I don't mind if you release a vehicle as a tier 0 vehicle to test stuff. I don't like when the second vehicle comes and we're still at tier 0. That's what bothers me. So
that's why you've never seen the G12, right?
Yeah, no, but that's my point is, so my point is, like, yes, they released the Vulture as the second vehicle with salvaging. That was because the Reclaimer was such a monster at the time for them to a monster challenge for them. But there's like, if they've released the Apollo as this like tier 0 gaming ship, medical ship, but we already had the Pisces, we already had the Terrapin, and so now we've just got another tier 0 medical ship that's come in. And it'd be the same with data running. If they release the Hermes as the tier 0, then what are we doing with the Herald and the Mercury? Like, they better be ready to
By the
go as
same
well.
token,
So
we've seen changes on the Herald. I'm not sure
yeah,
so much about the MSR, but remember how they made the data ports functional?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like when they continue to release stuff for a gameplay loop. And look, who was it that asked that question? Parker, to be completely honest, we heard John Crew directly address this, where he said we found that we were releasing ships for gameplay loops that weren't ready, and we're not going to do that anymore. John Crew directly addressed that point very, very recently, where he said unless the gameplay loop is there, we don't really want to engage in building that ship until we're ready.
And then they broke their promise and brought out the Clipper. Right.
That's a good point.
Literally less than a month later.
But it's not a crafting ship. It's a ship what can craft.
But the
you see what I
crafter
mean?
doesn't work. Yeah, it's just
but
the same one. It's still got all its other gameplay. It's got its medical gameplay. He just doesn't have its crafting. But point still stands. Like they're trying to. You can see. Like I've always said with Star Citizen, it's always a best intent, right? They always try to do their best intent. Like they are not vindictive people. They're very passionate people. It's very obvious when you sit down with any of them how passionate they are, right? And everyone knows someone passionate in their life, right? They always are just enthusiastic and they're trying to get there. But you don't always get there, and you got to do it in multiple steps.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Only a couple of questions left now. So D1 for Lone Star says, is it possible for the Hermes, is a data running and boarding, maybe the backdoor docking collar could be used like Legionnaire? That's an interesting thought.
So he's saying a cyber warfare ship.
Well, I actually went the other way. What if it's like a boarding, what if it's more like E1? So it's like a personal transport data runner. Got the sunroof.
So it's data running and
people.
People smuggling.
No, not people smuggling, just like a people mover. And you transport people in it. I could see that as a variant,
that's that
but
tier
I don't...
0 gameplay though. Like
Exactly.
NPCs can't even sit on chairs. You think they're going to be able to get them onto your ship?
But can you?
And they want to sell it now.
Can you sell it as a data runner and put in the other stuff later? It is a form of cargo, and it still falls under the well, again, we were talking about what could be alternatives to making it exactly like the MSR, right? And that is one that would work. If it was a people mover and a data runner, it still falls under the thing of cargo. I'm not going to say yes it is or no it isn't. I'm just saying that's a good thought process that he's gone down there.
Yeah,
if that's what he's implying.
I would hope not. I don't like the idea of like people movers, because ultimately what it's going to... You know my feeling on NPCs. I just don't think they're coming for years and years and years. So I don't like the idea of wasting resources on a ship that moves people when it's only going to be like one. You're going to write into global chat because global chat's busted and we don't have any features to interact with other players really at all without seeing the N-word pop up on our screen. So you'll say to people, do you want a trip from Stanton to Pyro? And then one person says, yeah, all right, whatever. And then you've got this big E1 with one person on it. NPCs aren't on it because they're not coming for years yet. And so it's a waste of resources. And I've talked about this with quite a lot of the Origin ships as well, specifically the 800, 890.
The thing that you're not remembering, though, and this is why this comes back to the point you made on your stream yesterday, is they want AI to be able to fly these ships and use them as well. So there's an interchange between any player can take over what an AI does, and an AI can take over what any player does.
I don't know. I still think that something like the 890 jump, where you've spent all these resources on making a capital ship, and then it doesn't actually have any purpose in the game. Like it seems like
eventually
it seems like such a waste of resources.
So again, remember it's a VIP ship, so you've essentially got 3 levels of AI. You've got these massive crowds like economy, then you've got executive or business class, which is a few kind of people that are not really super unique, but they're the next level up. And then you've got VIP, where you're looking after one really important guest. Is it the Dalai Lama, or is it the 6-year-old kid that's a rock star? Is it a drugged out rock star? You get where I'm going, right? So you can I don't know.
You
can see the game. You can see the gameplay. You can see it.
But I
There
can't
is
see
gameplay,
but I
though.
can't see the technology. That's the problem. Is I can see the gameplay, I can't see the technology.
Yep,
That's
and
and
I'm going to tell you right now,
in the future,
out of the AI gameplays, that is the most complicated one, right? But I
For sure.
know it's there
100%.
because you also need it for animals, right? So the way a bunch of humans are going to move in a group is not dissimilar how to and I'm talking about AI terms here, right? And gameplay terms is how a bunch of gazelle would move, right? You've got to have that herd mentality, herd of people, herd of, right? So you can see how that they would use, it's reusing the same asset. The one that becomes unique is when you have one person. Guess what? Isn't that very similar to a mission giver? As in the quality. You see where I'm going, right?
We just need the tools, right? If you can have like a comm system that, like I said, isn't just a white box with heinous offensive nonsense in it constantly. If I can have like check the station I'm at, like a comms channel for just the station that I'm at, that I don't have to go through and select. I can just press enter, press tab. I'm on the station channel and go, hey, anyone running people from A to point B want to run me because I've got some cargo I need to haul, and all I've got here is
you've got to remember that the
the
simulation running in the background, most of the AIs are running in a simulation. They're only going to be essentially physicalized in the game world when we interact with them, right? So that removes,
I'm talking about players' interaction though.
90% of the AI straight off the bat, and then it's just literally AI that are in front of us.
Well,
most tasks,
again, I'm not talking about the AI because I'm playing a multiplayer game. I'm talking about interacting with players. I don't want to be on a ship what an AI flies from location to location because I can't talk to him. I can't walk around and move. I'm playing a multiplayer game.
You will be able to eventually, though. They want.
Eventually.
They literally said they wanted to make it so it was almost to the point that you couldn't distinguish what was an AI and what was a player.
Well, that uncanny valley AI stuff will come in the next 10 years. But for now,
again,
I want a comm system so I can say to everyone on Everest, is there anyone on Everest that wants to? I've just come from Pyro to Everest with the fastest ship that I could to buy X because I can't get it in Pyro. Does someone want to run me back?
Well, they've talked about a physicalized billboard system. You're essentially just talking about a digitalized billboard system through the movie glass.
Yep.
That's already been talked about before.
Yeah, we just have to wait till we get it.
Yeah. Again, once the inventory comes in, and then I'm hoping we get more social systems. I know that's something Paul's really looking forward to, or Astro. He's really looking forward to the social system next year. More and more will come, right? Player rating systems. So, people will know if this guy's a scumbag and try to scam people before, but also we'll know that about AI as well. Because an AI will have that personality. Can an AI scam you? Yeah, absolutely. They'll be able to scam you. Oh, but wait, he paid a hacker to redo his info.
Yeah,
He
scramble
sold
comms.
So many millions of dollars that he could spend some of that to actually undo his bad crime rating. So someone will get stung, but how many people can he stung before his rating drops again? See where I'm going? You see the gameplay loops, they all start looping and going around and feeding into each other. It's crazy.
But to wrap back to the question, which was, is it going to be used like the Legionnaire?
Yeah, that's...
I think no, but only because the engine nacelles that stick out from the back will complicate. The only way I can see it really boarding would be boarding with the rear collar. And because the nacelles are too wide for it to board from the side, and then the engines sit too far back for it to board from the rear. So I don't really see it being used as maybe a boarding ship, but I could see cyber warfare in some
It's also not exactly a military ship, it's more of a civilian ship. The Andromeda would be the military from the RSI. So I agree with you, and boarding backwards is going to be really, that's not going to help the combat too much.
No.
So, but again, it could utilize a docking collar. But again, knowing how modular that is, unless it's a third variant, I just don't see it using that docking collar. Personally,
no, I don't think so.
Yeah,
No.
but I wouldn't say no to a third variant. And again, data running and people mover or personal transport, maybe down the line, maybe we don't hear about it for 5 years, but yeah, maybe.
With these modular ships, how do you feel about modular ships getting variants instead of just components to vary them?
Well, so state a point of reference or
So you
statement.
see what I
You've
mean? So
essentially got
like
a
with,
bespoke ship is stronger than a variant, and then a variant is stronger than a modular ship. So you get versatility in a modular ship. A variant, I think a variant has really muddled the water now, because why does it matter that it's weaker than a bespoke ship? Because you've essentially, CIG themselves have essentially come along and they're removing bespoke ships. They're making everything have a variant. So really, you've only got two levels now, in my personal opinion. You've essentially got variants and bespoke, and essentially modularity. So when you get the jack of all trades mentality of like something like a Clipper that does multiple different gameplays, it's just and the weakness of that ship is it's all size ones, but it's sold as a medium sized ship, but it also gets the benefit that it can essentially make its own components. So there's a plus and win, like, and it all balances out if you see it. But to bring it back to your question, yeah, they can do whatever the hell they want. But I think realistically, what they're going for is those two channels, versatility, and more tailored.
I see something like the. I think maybe I'm about to answer my own question. But I see something like the Galaxy, where it's like modular and it completely changes what the ship does. Like, you're not buying a Galaxy Medical or a Galaxy Refiner. You're just changing what it does by changing the module.
Yep.
And so maybe they're saving that modularity for the big ships. I don't know. But like for the Apollo, it already has the modular bays. I would prefer them to just give us new bays rather than a Hermes.
You got to remember,
you know
there's
what I mean?
a lot of modular ships that are just not done yet. The Redeemer, you mentioned the Galaxy, the Caterpillar. It's not just a big ship thing. It is literally just they haven't done them. The Carrack, the Javelin, right? So there is. But
that's my point. If they haven't done it, like should they be focusing on that rather than giving us Hermes 2 Electric Boogaloo?
I would imagine now that we've seen the modular system come in, I would be expecting, as of very next year, there'll be another modular ship coming, because they've got no reason not to make them. Well, the Hermes might be
maybe the Hermes is a test.
But what I'm saying is
to switch between the Apollo, like maybe the modules between those two ships are going to be variable.
Do we see like pick any of the ships that we know that are coming, right? They talked about an Aegis ship coming, right? So I'm just going to throw it out there. For example, there was talk of a Wolf Claw and a Bear Claw. So do they make it a Claw, and they're actually modules? So the ship is called the Claw. This is the Bear module. This is the Wolf module. And I'm not saying that's what we're going to do. I'm just trying to give you an example, right? Yeah. But I would say that is highly more likely on the cards than any other year we've had before, because modules are now in. I remember when Algrid asked about the Gladiator and the bombs, right? And John basically said, I would have to make that into a variant now, right? But could they also all of a sudden go the other way and make the Gladiator modular now? Well, they could. So you can put a bomb module in, or you can put in a torpedo module. So they can go both ways. I'm pretty sure
you can even put bombs on the wings now for that ship. So there you go.
Yeah, but you'd be able to put even more bombs.
Yeah, I know. You looked so excited when you said that.
More bombs.
Not even more bombs.
Big motor boom.
Fifth Element reference. Let's go.
Right. So you get my point, though, right? Like, so it just gives them flexibility to do whatever they want, right? And that's a great thing. And again, you can look at the Apollo and go, well, why do they put restrictions on us as players? Well, it's for design, it's for gameplay reasons, it's for the fun. Right? At the end of the day, it's all got to be fun, right? So whatever they choose to do, they have to have a myriad of tools to do what they want to do. And you've got to also think 10, 20 years in the future, if they're still building ships, what are they going to be like, right? So they've again, it was something Paul talked about too. Like, I carry on about metrics a lot. I still, and Paul talked about this as well, he can't believe it either. It's just taking them so long to get onto metrics, where if they'd done it all the way back in the beginning, think of all the grief and they wouldn't have to rework all this shit. It would have just all been standardized.
Well, this has me really excited for, and everyone settle down. I'm about to say 3 letters that really upset people.
SEX. SE, no.
I'm talking about the NFM, right? Next flight model. The NFM needs to come out. It's the final form, right? They'll moderate on it, but it's basically going to be the final form. It needs to come out soon, because otherwise we're going to be reworking everything again, reworking all these ships that they've been balancing. And they've been balancing these ships, making changes to interceptor, medium, slight. We've seen them patch on patch on patch in these last few months, right? They're balancing the ships for the next flight model. That's what they're doing. The sooner they get the NFM out, the sooner that they can begin to iterate and get that into the position that we want, what we need to get it into. It'll change and it'll develop, but if it is going to work as Yogi intends, it should be the last time that we see it. It's our atmospheric flight, it's our 6 DOF flight, and it should help us better understand exactly what these ships are being balanced for, and stop that going over the top of what we've already done again and again, because we keep seeing that where they release something and then CIG go and rework it, and they release something and then they go and rework it. So it would be good to just sort of get something like the NFM, something like whatever area of the game put in, so we can start to balance it rather than reiterate the whole system again and again and again. So yeah.
All right, we've got 2 questions left, so here is the next one. Are you going to be streaming today at all?
Yeah, I will.
What time are you going to start?
I haven't decided. Maybe I can start for this if you want.
Well, I was going to say, do you want to go start now, and I'll do these last 2 questions and I'll raid over to you.
Sounds good.
All right. So tell everyone where they can find you on the interwebs, and I'll raid over you in a bit.
Guys, I am at NonStopBops on YouTube, NonStopBops on Kick, and NonStopBops on Twitch. Come on down and have some fun. We do lots of stuff. Like I said, we do giveaways. We're all about teaching new pilots to fly. You might think you can fly, but I guarantee you can't. Come have some fun and learn how to develop your skill set so that you can smash reds, even in engineering, smash red solo in a light fighter. We try and do training in a way that is not ego driven, but actually helps you evolve and get to the point where you can crush AI. And then maybe if you get bored of AI because you're that good now, you might decide to start fighting some players. So it's a really, really good fun environment. We also do music. We do all the different gameplay loops. It's just about creating a fun, welcoming environment. So come have some fun with us.
Just remember, he's got some giveaways going on there. He's got 2 at the moment. So yeah, get over there.
Yep.
And
Reclaimer. We're giving away a Reclaimer, guys. Come watch and get a Reclaimer. All right, cool.
Well,
I'll get out of here, X.
Thanks for stepping in and filling for Agrid. I know he appreciates it. I'll see. I don't know if you want to come back again before he gets back, but
yeah, if you need me, I'm always here.
Great having you.
You know,
really good having you. Really good discussions today. I enjoyed it.
All right, cool. I'll get out of here.
All right, see you, matey. I will go.
See you guys. See you in Inforunners, guys. See you.
Solid large. Bang. There you go. You can step out. Right. With that, then we've got 2 questions left. So let's get over to these. And like question. This is from Bowler, who says, "Why is the Genesis the best ship?" Well, the reason it's the best ship is you're on some serious hopium and on a lot of drugs, and everything is just delulu. You're seeing rainbows and unicorns and all those type of things. So yeah, just keep it up, have a good time, and run with it. And no, Genesis will come up one day. You'll be fine. If you like the Genesis, man, that's entirely up to you. I think everyone's got their own ship. I know there's a lot of ships me and Agri are looking forward to, like the Crucible and the Endeavor and stuff like that. So yeah, I can't shit on anyone else's ship. Yeah, enjoy it. Right, last question for the day. Snoochie Bucci, that question, says, do you think there will be light carrier competitors to the Kraken? If so, which manufacturer would you like to see a Kraken compete from? I'm going to be honest, if I put another carrier in the game, it would have to be between the Liberator and the Kraken. And I think what it would do is be a medium pad-based ship. So think of something like me and Abra talked about this and speculated on it. You know how you got the whole series that essentially has the folding out panels? Now imagine if it was a Misk or Razor ship. I'm probably leaning more towards Misk. And those pads fold up. So you could essentially fly out to the middle of nowhere, have 2 medium pads fold out on this ship, and then you could have medium ships land on it and transfer cargo between. And I think that would be, so it's essentially like a bridge, a Misk bridge or something like that, and it just allows you to, you can repair them, refuel them, rearm them from your cargo, but also they can load stuff off into you, but you can also load the ships. They can interchange vehicles. So essentially in a place where there's like a really big gap of space, you can allow those ships to use it as a bridge to get to where they need to go, where there's no, you know, you can create pathways or just distribution routes, and even the AI would turn up because the AI go, oh, I can go this way now, you know, and it would even allow you to attack someone because you could bring the crafts in a different route. You get all the different gameplay options that bring up, but that, again, that's just the idea that I came up with, and Agrid thought it was really good as well. But again, I think it would be more likely a medium pad carrier, 2 medium pads, or if you want to go bigger, you could have 4 medium pads. I just think it works with Mist because, again, you could have them fold up like the Concertina thing. Yeah. All right, let's have a quick look and see if Bops has got his shit together. He has. Right. So we're going to be rating Bops today on Twitch. Raid non-stop Bops. Right, so yeah, make sure you thank Pops for stopping by. Had a really good laugh with him today. We are definitely more on similar humor than me and Agrid are, but that's totally fine. Nothing against Agrid, you know, all different. All right, so he's probably still warming up, but we're gonna flick over. I'm on the wrong screen. Oh, I just realized what I've done. Hang on, need 5 seconds to fix. Doot. There we go. That should have fixed that. So yeah. Go over there and raid Bops. Good stream with Execute. It was very interesting. It was obviously not there. Wait, I'll turn the sound on and see if we can hear him. Give me a second. He's just playing his jet banjo. So yeah, go over there, hang out. Remember, he's given a couple of ships away over there. Help yourself out. I'll drop by in a bit and say hello. And yeah, have a good one. So Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. Have a good one. And they're gone. Right, on YouTube, we do have an episode coming out this week with Bops. Look forward to that one with me and Agrid. It was a really, really good episode. I like, it was such a good discussion, and it was so on point for this patch. I just moved it straight to the head of the line. Yeah. Forward to it. All right. I'll go back to my big ass fat head. Hold on. Where is it? I think we'll just leave the music in the background. Wait, let's hope it's not. Oh shit! I just realized it could be copyrighted. Where's the?
That means I better turn the camera on.
Yeah.
Hola.
That's him. Yeah, and he plays lots of instruments too. All right, Bops. I will love you and leave you, sir.
All right.
Have a good one.
So I can play.
Right. Well, thank you for joining me on stream today. Again, look forward to that episode, and I will love you and leave you. Pleasure having you, and I'll see you next week for stream. Don't know who I'm going to have on. If you got any guests you'd like me to bring on, feel free to reach out and let me know, especially if someone wants to come on and hang out and chat with me, especially while Agrid's away. We can get up to some mischief. All right. With that, then, have a good one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. I forgot to do that. Sorry. Right. With that, then, I'm just Execute. The guy that was with me this week was Bops. See you, citizens.